Another day.
Living the dream, right? And I just can't get something to show up on my task. I'll catch with you catching rockets after class for 5 minutes. See if you can figure it out. Did I catch rockets? Do you have straight Celts?
Yeah.
Can you get them to show up the names? 15 bottom, 30 bottoms.
Or at least I think I have them.
Why is the names not showing up? I just don't get it.
Take a
There
look.
we go. Finally.
Oh, you got it?
Well, I'm gonna try. I'm just trying to make this easier session for everyone. So 1 second, please.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know why it doesn't do this. 1 second, I'm sorry, guys.
Clever than anyone else in this realm.
Realm?
Realm? You think we're strange?
Yeah, I do.
Good strange or bad?
And here it doesn't show. What? Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, I do have the flat clouds. I've never used them.
Yeah.
You never taught them to me.
Yeah.
So what do you want them to show?
Hold on 1 second. I think I got it. 1 second. Let me see.
Now I'm gonna have to hit you up for a lesson.
Yeah, don't.
Don't?
No, don't hit me up for nothing.
Damn. So mean.
Finally. Goodness. Why does it take so long? Ha, here we go. All right, just give me 2 minutes. I'll have it ready.
It looks like it just shows like where the high and the low is.
Correct, but there's a trick I'll show you. You'll learn it now.
Right on. I think I need to add these to all of my stuff now.
I just keep one screen. You'll see how I do it. And I think you can do the same.
Right on.
Apologize for this, but I've been playing with this since 10. So not like I haven't tried. It just fucking didn't click. Why was it not doing it? You guys will like it, so patience. Okay, this computer just... Come on.
It's okay that breath, babe.
My computer's freezing. Come on. All right, well, I'm gonna do it as this. It's not gonna be pretty, but
You're not sharing your screen just in case.
I know.
Okay.
Whenever I see the dumpsters on, I just get a little confused.
Well, I mean, it's not after 8 o'clock, so I'm here.
I don't know, dumpster. It's 5 p.m. somewhere. I'm drinking a beer.
Dude, no way you're not.
I am.
Yeah, I still need to ride the bike again.
I think I need to make more than 400 steps this morning. That's my goal.
Here, Shorty. I'm gonna send you a picture of my breakfast with my beer. I mean, technically, it's nighttime for me. I just worked all night, so.
All right, well, let's go live. Let's share, and you guys can. So the purpose of this is kind of look at the shares and where the sectors are, so we can see what's coming up if you're interested in some shares. I think some of the stuff that we found last time in terms of the shares. Let me see if I have that.
Cat was money the last time we did this.
Yeah, cat was good. Maybe I don't have it. Let me see. So let's do this. We'll do the stock, the price, the target. All right. So as you guys know, I have some custom kilts, right? And they tend to be really accurate on, for me as well, on share purchases when I'm buying stuff, whether it's, a hold of a month, 2, 3 months, whatever that is. It tends to find good stocks to buy. Tesla was one of those at kind of like 120s, 117s range. They did stop me out of that initial entry on Tesla, but I was able to get some other stuff on Tesla and kind of make up on it. So as we go today, we'll basically focus on see, where can we, or personally, where am I going to shift some money so I can look for some stocks, right? So what I typically start off with is I start looking for stuff that's on the monthly bottoms, right? I want to see the stocks that are on the monthly bottom kilts. And a lot of people ask me, hey, Shorty, what are these scans that we have? Let me this up. Where the hell is it? There it goes. We have scans that run in a Discord, right? And they're basically automated from Thinkorswim. You guys get those as well. So, the daily scans for the daily tops or bottoms, and then each scan is named, I believe, if sequence is on. So they name them all, and you're able to see what's going on in terms of the stocks and what are they hitting. So just kind of give you guys a little bit of background. So we have these different clouds, right? So if you guys look here, this is my 4-hour cloud, right? Which is basically finds the ATR with some custom codes and volume. And it tells me where's the top. If the cloud's closed, that means the bottom can be broken. If the top opens up, most likely it'll go up here and bust through it. And this is a 4-hour cloud, usually 4 hours used for intraday stuff. Then you have the daily cloud, which takes a little bit more time to develop. And then same concept here. You have the top of the cloud, the bottom, and the mid. Okay. And then you have so it's not don't confuse this with the candles. It's the cloud that I'm talking about. You guys see that I can look at this cloud on any time frame that's below the length of the cloud. So this cloud is daily. If I go on weekly, what do you expect to be? There's not going to be a cloud because it has to be same or less to see the cloud. So if I look at daily, I'll see it here. So we are above the daily. If we fall, for instance, inside of this cloud here, that's where things kind of tend to turn bearish, okay? But that's for another topic. And then you have the same cloud here. It's just that this one here, for instance, I keep it on the weekly, and occasionally I'll switch it over to, monthly, depending on how extended we are or not. That's where I look to kind of trade position, trade off of these, and these are my high levels. Usually I'll say, hey, the weekly top or this level is here. I don't know if you're going to break it. So for instance, here on SPX, you guys take a look at this chart here now. For instance, we completed the cycle basically almost up here, right? You went down here, came back, you held this, and now you're very close to completing a weekly cycle all the way from October. And if you think about it, we almost completed from August. Takes about 2 months to complete these cycles on the weekly. And then on the monthly, if I take a look here, we still haven't gotten to the, monthly mid here in a while. And of course, the monthly, the mid here is closed. And then you can look at different clouds. The longer the period on the cloud, the more conviction it has, especially if I'm trading shares or whatnot. So let me remove this for a second. So if I look at this cloud, for instance, right? So there's our full send that we had in October, and people, I would say, laughed. That we like had a strong bounce there. But now we are hitting a really, really a strong zone here, and we're kind of rejecting from here. So it's going to be important to see, right? Where do we go? And the max will probably go is right here. I don't expect this to break right here, and I'll bet my life on it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to search stocks that are either on the bottom. We'll prefer that we to buy on the bottom along with the hedge funds and institutions. And then you can short some stuff that's reaching the top as well. When you're shorting, a lot of people are not experienced shorting equities. They prefer options. You can short stocks as well. You just have to be a little bit more careful on how you do it, right? Margins are not, so you don't get called. But let's get into it. So let's kind of start searching here. And then what I have here is I search it by the sector, right? So I have the sector, symbol description, the last, and a bunch of crap that you guys might not need. But then there's also volume, which you might need. So let's get into it. So I don't buy every one of these stocks. I don't go in like, man, let me just buy one of each. Kind of look at the companies. And if you guys see something you like a stock, we'll look into it. If you know, I don't know every one of these symbols. There are certain names that I recognize. When I recognize a good company, right? The way I judge a good company is growth. And then if I use the product, to be honest, if I'm using the product, I see the potential for using the product, I'll look into it. Okay. So right off the monthly bottom, or I'm sorry, yeah, monthly bottom right now, there's a little bit of real estate, and I would expect real estate to be in there. I'm not interested in buying real estate now just yet. Utilities like this one here, D, it might be something that I'd be interested to add a little bit to my portfolio, right? So if I look at this, and now I'm gonna show Drew a cool trick here. So if I look at, for instance, D here, I'm able to see quickly, where are we on all of these clouds all together? Okay, so I know,
that's
where
sexy.
that's 4-hour top. We are trading basically in a range on the 4-hour top. This is our 4-hour bottom. This is my daily bottom, so I know where it's going to bounce. Now, when I say bounce with high probability is this range here. So if I was going to trade this stock, I'd put a buy order here at 660, 60, maybe 70, just to make sure I get filled. When this hits, most likely I could expect it to go to the daily top here, and that would be a trade that you're looking for, 64, right? But then if you kind of scroll up, what do you guys think will happen once we crash this level here at 64.5? What do you guys think happens in the world of stocks? Here, let me show you. It literally
Rejection.
no, once we get here, if you're able to hop over this, it's going to be the fastest move you'll ever seen from here to here. Believe it or not, this is what they kind of see as well. And here's an example of this. So if you guys look from here to here, how quickly did we dump? There was no clouds. There was nothing stopping them. So they're able to basically slice it through. There's nothing in here, guys. And remember that this has volume in it. It looks at volume. So they accelerated really quick. What happened between this and this? You guys see the acceleration?
You would still wait for a retest, though, right?
I'm sorry for. I'm just explaining the gaps right now. I'm not explaining how would I trade it. But anytime you have a congestion of clouds, you see how many levels we got in this box right now. It's kind of accumulation. We're trading between the daily bottoms, tops. Really, not a lot of range. Once you hop over this level, I guarantee you're going to go here to 70. Once you break this 73, high chance you're going to be heading for 86.
So like a skinny belly almost, in a way?
Pretty much, but this is, as you probably know, this is pretty deadly accurate when it comes to clouds and buying shares on the bottoms for me. And I've been able to take advantage of that. So something for me here, if I was to look at this, I would probably look to buy this somewhere in the 60-58 range on D, just because I don't know if, like, we'll take a look at the XLE as well. Here's your XLE here, right? So it kind of, you know, I don't know if D makes up the XLE, but we can take a look. This is at the tops right now. So it's at the weekly top. Where's the monthly top? And the monthly top here as well. So there's a high chance that, you know, if we lose this level, which we did, that we're going to be dropping here to 88.69. But then it could bounce here on the monthly top inside and
D is
cause.
XLU.
Oh, okay. Let me check XLU, which makes sense. Okay, well there's a potential if we can hold this here. I'm sorry, this bottom line here that you guys see, that this would be a good purchase here. Ideally, what you want to do is you want to buy these stocks like this one in sync. If you're able to drop this to the weekly bottom here, and that level of, you know, you would mark on your chart is about 64 in XLU, which would make D be around 58, and that would be a great buy. So 60 to 58 is something that I'll consider on D. Okay. And then I would definitely look at it to offload 70 to 71. And if you guys think about the return, right, I'm just going to document these and I'll post this chart. Let me find this name Excel. So if you guys look at this, you know, is there anyone that doesn't like making this kind of money here? Just so we know, percent desired return is what? It's about 20% on this. So if I can get this, sell it here, that's pretty good, right? 10%, 6. So I'm looking about 20, maybe 18, 20% on a stock. If you can do a couple of these trades a year with the larger account, if you have 100K or so sitting for equities, then you can make decent kind of money on it. So let's see if you guys see any, just let me know. So real estate, not interested. There's Google. So we'll take a look at Google here on all of these charts. Okay, so Google is entering like a nice little gap here. So I'll just remove this so you guys see it. I personally would not buy just Google here. There's a high chance we're going to enter this gap all the way to here to 106. Ideally, you should have been buying somewhere around 88s, like right here, daily bottom, weekly bottom combined. And you guys see a lot of support is here right now. So if I was to multiply this, let me see. Let's see, I'll change this to quarterly. Let me just change this to weekly. Yeah, the quarterlies are not even coming up on this one. So there's our monthly bottoms, the big board Celts. So I would think that we're gonna go to 106 here on Google, and I don't know if well, I'm sorry. Here's a quarterly at 129, and the bottom here at 58. So this would be probably the max that I would take Google here. This is probably a good shorting opportunity on Google. The buying was kind of here. Buying was here, so I would not really look at it for now for shares. Favorite. Here's your meta entering a really nice gap, as you guys saw here. Boom, gap, and then a little bit of 2 levels, and look how well they played. They stayed within, they dumped. Now you're looking to see if we get over 164, has a chance to go to 200. So if we hop over it and here, you can buy that, but I'm not interested in meta. Is this match.com?
Yep.
$54.
Don't they own Tinder?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes things a little bit. I would say Tinder is pretty active. Yeah, I would look for a rejection here somewhere soon. So our weekly top is right here. Probably going to reject the 55. I would say short it unless you break this level here. And I don't know how liquid this thing is. Unless it breaks 63 and holds, I'd buy it. And I wouldn't add much just because I don't know the movement. And the target would be 90, 87, 90 here. So that's on that one. What?
You can Horizon.
Verizon, yeah. Let's take a look at Verizon. I like Verizon myself. And where do we bounce? I wouldn't look at this candle here. Just ignore, yeah, ignore that candle. Yeah, ideally, if we can get it around 35, that's where I've been getting some stuff on Verizon. I would definitely look to add there. Let me go on. So the break of this range, you know, on Verizon, if you break this 40-14, you can catch it all the way here to about 38. This is not a mover for options, just FYI, it doesn't move like that. But for shares, if you can get it here at 35, desired buy would be 35 range.
You keeping track of all these?
Yeah.
Cool.
I keep track, and I'm writing them as we go. And then if I was to kind of wait, and I don't think Verizon is, you know, buy and sell it immediately, hold. I would look to sell it somewhere around 55, 50 to 55 would be the sell, but this is a long-term hold. And they do pay great dividends, just,
Yeah, I've been accumulating Verizon to long-term hold.
yeah, this is a great company. I have a lot for my kids as well. There's also WFC, if you guys remember. This company here is actually at a really good price right now. I know it wasn't on our scan, maybe it was, but this is a really good price. If you can get it anywhere in 25. Did anyone get it last time when we talked about it?
I did.
Yeah, this is a really good company for dividends.
Yeah, good
I
for
would
the-
look to offload this at different levels. This would be 40, because this one is going to move with the dividend payouts. People dump it to reaccumulate and so on. So you have to kind of be a little bit more active on this one. Okay. Does that help with Verizon? I think we said 34, 36, target long-term 50, 55. This is something I don't look to sell immediately, right? I just keep adding. I don't think Verizon is going to go anywhere. Anyone see anything you guys like from communication services? So just to show you this, do you guys remember when I mentioned XLC was coming up to a great buy level? This was a level, and now you see, I mean, from 45 to 55, they did good, right? So if you bought shares, and I would think it's going to be rejecting here fairly soon. I would think somewhere around here, 57, probably rejection. There's the accumulation here and a dump in imbalance. So I wouldn't be interested in XLC here, but this was a great buy off the weekly bottom. So guys want crowd? Anyone want to look at crowd? I think these security stocks are gonna take. Yeah, I guess I like.
Yeah, they've been getting their asses kicked, and they've all been getting downgraded recently too. So
Some of the earnings coming up.
Okay, well, I don't mind this in the 90s range here. If I can get them in this, you know, they really need to. If I was to look at this, you know, for a quick buy soon, you know, for me, if you're gonna go, I need you over 111 to catch the momentum to 122, which would be what, like 10% or something like that. You could catch 10% from here. So I'm not gonna put this in the notes, but if you're taking notes for yourself, this is gonna fly. This little X I'm putting here, this is gonna be rather quick on the when it starts moving. It's just in a very congestion move. Like you have the 4-hour bottom, you know, you have the weekly bottom inside the bottom, and a couple of mids here, the dashed lines. So I would like it to come back to the daily bottom and then buy it, which should be about 93. But this requires patience because it might go first higher. And then I would say 90. If it breaks, I'll put that note for somebody. So I'll put that. Okay. Let me know. Does anyone care for CE?
Shorty, would you mind looking at Adobe?
Yeah, is it here somewhere? Do you see it?
Yeah, ADBE.
right there.
Down, it's below V scale and Ronos and stuff.
Oof.
Hey,
Okay, somebody,
Ivanka?
somebody, please. Just
Sonny,
Handled. Handled.
gonna change to Ashi candles, guys, just for a moment. Okay, there's two ways to play this. You can play it above 383. Okay, so if it goes above 383, there's nothing literally till 470. Okay. If you see the congestion that we're in, it makes it hard for me to hold shares through this crap, but
Yeah.
like this is very, very difficult. If you look at this, like, I mean, you have, the monthly bottom, you came back very close, and I don't know, at that time it might have been there. It bounced nicely. And you guys remember that we talked about Adobe at 350 level. I don't know if you guys recall. 350 level was fairly important on it. We hit the daily. I really want it now. If I was to look at this, here's our weekly top. We went over it. I don't care about the 4-hour top for this picture, so I'll just delete it. So here's our 4 hour. So here we are above the weekly top. So I'll be looking, if I was to buy shares, it'd be 350, if I'm not looking for a momentum trade. Okay. And if we get 350, then, it depends what you're trading. To me, just not a lot of meat on the bone if you're a smaller account on this one. I mean, you're looking at 350 and out, you'll be cautious selling 365. I mean, that's not even 5%. So it's not something that I would go in this right now. My ideal price would be, if I was to, kind of go here, I would look for this at 280. This is the level that you want to be looking at this, and you see how well that worked last time.
is it normal for things to be in a monthly bottom and yet be at the top of the weekly and top of the daily?
Yeah, it just depends how quickly you're moving between them. And then, of course, the liquidity of things that you had, like they're grabbing liquidity here. Now they grabbed, this is going to come down fast. So once we enter this monthly bottom below 350, you're going to go to 280 rather quickly. This was just literally, they're grabbing, market makers are creating liquidity to get out. So, yeah.
It was filling the earnings gap.
Yeah, so I would look for this, 280, 300 would be my entry. I would not pay more for it. And if you can get that, then, if you get around 280, 300 level, you can look to sell 350 or so. And that's not bad. $50 a share, probably like 20%. If I can get 20% on a stock with not a lot of like stress, I won't look at it. Okay, you guys want ZS? I like ZS a lot. Man, ZS was. Remember last play dumpster on ZS?
Shorty, you still in Sentinel 1?
Yeah, I still have shares. I'm gonna hold that for a while. I think one of these giants is gonna buy them out.
Yeah, okay.
And my wife just made me some ramen noodles, guys. I think I'm about to stop this stream. Oh my god, they're good.
Like the 30-cent ones that we eat?
No, I don't know, man. I don't usually eat them, but they're spicy, and I'm not a spicy guy, so.
Yeah, look
But,
at
okay, this stream is ending right now. They're so good. Let's see.
look at Pan W2. We blew that one.
This is we're gonna reject here, and I'm gonna short G scalar. And I'll look to sell some puts here. Maybe sell some calls above, 136 for myself. I have a little bit of position on Zscaler, not a lot, maybe like 200 shares. But this buy on Zscaler at 100, I mean, it would have netted 30%, guys.
Yeah, look at Palo Alto. Freaking same thing. Missed that bounce.
There was some flow on that last week.
I'm gonna add Zscaler to our list for a swing short entry and a swing long, okay? Just cause I like it both ways.
Shorty, can you repeat the levels for this, the swing short and long?
Yeah, so I'm looking to short the 130s, 130, 131. My stop loss would be right above 135 on this. I would say somewhere around here, and we can confirm this with volume profile as well, just to make sure. But you see this, you know, we had this accumulation. They're driving this up right now. All the buy algos are pushing this. Because somebody up here on the left, what do you guys think it is? They're like unprocessed orders? Oh, hell yeah. So they're trying to get that back inside. The algos are driving it. To finish that off.
What will
So
be
I'm
the
watching.
long target?
The long target is right here. 105 is where I'm
Okay.
gonna enter shares.
Thanks, Shorty. I think that will also be a confluence to the downtrend trending line. Will bounce off it.
Yeah, I honestly think this is gonna be a great buy for me here. 105. Might go a
Thanks,
little bit
Shorty.
heavier on security. I feel like security, and I'm not conspiracy theorist, but I think that's the next thing that's gonna come up. You have the wars, you had this inflation, you know, you had the gun shootings recently. I think security is the next thing. So, and they've been getting like really, I mean, this stock, guys, was at like 500, 400. If you're willing to buy at 250, I have no idea why people are not interested at that level. I had this share somewhere around this range, 36 to 40 before. Yeah, and I sold it for great profit of 100%. But yeah, I'm definitely looking at Zscaler here. They're really, I don't know, Dumpster, do you guys use Zscaler at a company?
No.
We use in our company. And we are the early investors in that company around like $10 before it gone public.
This is I mean, if you use it and you're in a security, it's a pretty powerful company, guys. It blocks literally everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Definitely watch this.
I'm Shorty, are you gonna sell your Zscaler position at a certain price level and then rebuy, or you're just buying?
I don't have a lot now, so I'm just gonna look to short here at 135. If we break this 136, I'd look for going long to 163.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And these are, I'll post the notes as well, what I'm writing, so you guys can see it. So far we have, what is this, 7 candidates for shares. Just let me know when you guys see something. I'm just going down the list.
Shorty, how about the CRM?
Yeah, that's my next one, Salesforce. I really like Salesforce.
Go look at UFPI. I know I asked you about it before.
Yeah, hold on. Let me go through the list first.
Oh,
Like
okay.
of this can. It's not like let's look at any stocks. I'm looking. What do you see here that you recognize?
All right.
Yeah. And what do you guys just reiterate? What do you guys see? Like once we broke inside the monthly top, what happened?
Boom.
Where do we get stuck? Literally on this dotted line. When you broke that dotted line, you went to the next one. You broke here, you went here, here. I mean, look at the weekly bottom bounce on this. Almost to a penny. If this was to come back to 110, I mean, I'll offer somebody my kidneys probably, or a kidney, and see how it goes. I mean, if we can get 140 first entry, great, and then pay attention to the trend. Otherwise, 126 retest of that weekly bottom. Does
Shorty,
this
quick
make
question.
sense to everyone when I say like, so in my notes, just to make sure you guys get it. The way I see this, right? So if you're able to go, you know, over 173 here, high chance you get to 183. For me personally, I'd look to, you know, maybe get in some here above this level. the weekly top, which would probably look like this. It would go here and it would come back. Then I would buy it and I would drive this all the way to here. So my entry would be like 173, drive it to 200, and that would be a pretty decent return. Does that make sense? So all these lines you can use for entries, but I want to find where the biggest gap between the lines are. I wouldn't buy 173 for 182 because that's like 5%. I would go from 173, have a little bit of stop loss here, like 165, all the way to 206. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Shorty, when we buy at the bottom, always keep the midpoint as the target, or you will scale
Of
out
that
and
same cloud, correct? Yeah, especially if it's a big boy cloud. So if you look at this monthly bottom, right? Let's see how it's highlighting. That's the
Mhm.
purple line right here. I would definitely scale out right
Okay.
there because you buy in the monthly bottoms, you scale. Eventually, this is going to go to 260. It just depends on your horizon and the investment and your, I guess, tax. I guess how do you like to do your taxes and
Correct,
profits?
Shorty. I think this week it bounced because of some mistake by Elliot, some actives.
Yes, I think this is a good company. This has a lot of potential, and I think this is coming back this week to 157. So
Thank you, Shorty.
high chance we're gonna go here. We hit the weekly top, most likely coming back to 158, and I think we have a high chance to kind of dip below. Okay. So for me, if it comes to 100, 110, I mean, no reason for me not to buy in that range. That's the ideal range. What's most likely gonna happen is that it's gonna, if you guys look here, if it breaks the daily top here, 155, yeah, 147, below that 140. If it breaks 136, you can catch this as well short on options, but I'll be looking at 126 as a good entry on this. That's the most reasonable entry. Okay, and I usually add $1 or so to these levels just in case they want to, these clouds will shift on a weekly basis. Weekly clouds recalculate weekly, monthly, quarterly, and so on. I would expect them to make a higher low, if there's an aggressive buying there. Okay. So let's see. Does anyone care for D-Dog? I don't personally, but
Right, T.
Why did what are you scanning for? Are you scanning on? Oh, you're scanning on monthlies.
yeah, I'm scanning monthlies right now,
All
and a
right,
lot of
yeah,
them
I'm
are
an idiot.
hitting. Okay, this one looks very promising, guys. I mean, this was an expensive stock at one point. And again, there was a lot of confluences here on the bottom inside the monthly cloud, right? And now if we can break 160 on this, you're going to get 200. So my plan would be if I can't catch the bottom of the 120s, then if the break over 160 happens, which what would happen there is if you do something like this, I wouldn't buy this. I would buy the retest of this. And what would that be called? Catching rockets? Just making sure you're paying attention. What's it called? Catching rockets. You guys think he's paying attention?
No.
Totally right. This would be the, it's kind of like a bullish money shot. We really didn't drop a lot below the cloud. We held it. So if we can come back to 120s, 125s, this would be a good buy.
Shorty, generally when we are within the cloud, we will try to avoid that, right, Shorty?
Yes, I don't
Maybe
like buying in the cloud, but this was the weekly bottom.
Okay.
So you're touching the bottom and not a lot of candles closed on the weekly below it, but you're inside the monthly. So if you're buying here, this is your first target. So 122 to, this was about 30% move. Most likely we're not going to break this right now. they need to kind of cool off and then go higher. But if they do go higher and give you a retest here inside the monthly bottom, this would be a good buy for me.
Thanks, Shorty.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a 3-month accumulation though. It looks like they're popping out of the range.
Yeah, they're gonna clear this. But you know, typically when you have the Wyckoff accumulation, as you know, they do this and then they will do a little peak. They bring them back, and that's what we were looking to get in. So accumulate, come back,
Yep.
monthly bottom. And if this plays out, you know, your monthly mid is around 270. So you're buying here. This is not too bad. And everyone in IT space is using, I would say, Atlassian right now. A lot of people are using Atlassian, aka Jira. And does this not line
Oh,
up
that's
with
what this is.
Yeah, this is Jira.
Yeah, I'm just reading that.
Yeah, I would say every fucking company has it.
Yep.
What is this 5? Is this the Fiverr or is this the company where you pay $5 or something? Or is this something else?
No. Is this the recruiter one?
Oh, that's a 5 below is different on the retail. This is on IT. It's different one.
No, I thought
That's
this
a
was
5.
the company where you go and like you request people to do work. It was
Oh,
like
okay.
Fiverr or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, it's different. Yeah, this is cloud software for contact center.
So like D-Dog competition?
No,
What is
Shorty,
G?
can you
it
look
says
new?
omni-channel routing analytics, workforce organization, and reporting.
Oh, yeah. When I hear omni-channel, like run away from it. Well, this is, what is this? Dumpster check financial, just quick on this. Whoa. Yeah, a nice accumulation here on the bottom, and this is looks decent. 60s.
Yeah, it's a tiny company.
Tiny. Overbill or no?
Under 812.
Is it growing?
No. Net income is down.
Sales?
Profits are down. Sales are marginally better than they were 5 years ago.
Nah.
Yeah, no.
You, what's her name? The Tesla lady. Woods, whatever. Kathy Woods.
Yeah, it was short you.
Oof. Okay, well, if you're interested in you, there's gonna be a massive pump if it breaks 45. You guys see that? We've been literally here, and there. What did they do? Gaming?
Metaverse.
It's metaverse.
I just can't get behind the purpose of it. I just don't get like buying virtual crap like land and shoes.
They do like the software component of it, I think.
Okay, well,
Gaming software.
yeah, gaming.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know what games they have. If I was to go along on this, let me show you on smaller time frame, like 2 hours. Most likely, it's going to grab this liquidity here around 40 here. It's probably headed. You're going to be looking for this to buy it. I don't know. There's a daily middle here, and this is our, I think, quarterly middle or daily. I'm sorry. Let me see which one's highlighting. Yeah. Yep. So I would probably look to add 30. Otherwise, it's around 27.30. Yeah, the weekly bottom's at 22, so that's okay. Digital Ocean. Close to that.
Fucking shop.
Okay, this is gonna come back down. Okay, well, has a lot of potential here, actually. Is this the one that's digitizing the records? Meaning like health records?
No. Cloud infrastructure. Like the only time I've ever used it, it's been setting up databases and shit online.
Like cloud shit?
Yeah. Cloud VPN, gaming development.
Not a bad price right now for long term. Are they growing?
Yeah, the monthly just, I mean, they're a newer company. The monthly just started like literally back in November. There was enough data for it.
Mm.
And yeah, they're growing.
What rate? Either way, if I was to go here, I'd be looking somewhere between 26 and 24. That's ideal.
Yeah, I mean, they're still small, but
Oh, annual?
yep.
Ooh.
318 to 428.
They're not profitable, are they?
Not yet.
Are they more than 5 years in business? Yeah.
Yeah, since 12.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't buy it, but
Yeah, they just went public in 21,
okay. I mean,
and they're below their IPO. So
yeah, I would not buy 26, 24. I'd buy 13 to 15. I want to catch it all the way down. I don't know the company that well, and I don't know the liquidity of them either, but you know, ideally you want them to break this. If it goes over 31, it can move to 38. So just keep that in mind. So however you want to play it. So 24, 26. You can play that to 29. So you're looking at about 10% gains. We did hold a weekly bottom. If we come back here, you can load up here and kind of hold till 38. So 24, 38, that'd be a pretty good return from here to here, but you have to be patient to catch it here. So far, we have 11 tickers on monthly bottom. And you guys can take a look at these levels and kind of use other confluences, whether it's volume profile or whatever you prefer, and confirm levels or whatever you want to buy. Shop, does anyone want shop 50? Didn't
yeah,
we say it was
something.
gonna go to shop? The shop was gonna go to 50?
Yeah, it went berserk this week for some reason.
Didn't it have that weird candle?
They raised
Yeah.
their pricing by 23% after
Wow.
almost 10 years. That's why it's jumping.
Didn't they get a new CEO?
Not sure on that, Shorty, but
No,
at
I
least
think
this
that.
week they increased their pricing by almost 23% after 10 years. I thought that was the reason for the spike.
Wonder if their acquisition, well, no, customer acquisition cost gone up too. We have to look at their financials a little bit, but I just can't justify buying it here, even though it has a nice room here over 50 to 62. Do you guys want these levels or? Yeah, and you guys see how well it bounced here at the weekly bottom. That was good. It just completed the whole cycle. I would not buy here unless it does something like this and you control your emotions and it comes back here. Then I would get invested in this and you can drive here, here, and then here. I mean, but they dumped it from 176 to 27. That's pretty bizarre. I guess SQ is not bad. Just to kind of show you guys that the monthly cloud takes time to play out. So if this is our quarterly, let's just change it quickly to monthly. So here's monthly. So it started in April, concluded in October, 6 months to complete it. So now if you're able to kind of get over to 65, and ideally, if you want to see this, you know, MACD shift and close this cloud, that would be really, really good. But let's just look at weekly cloud. Okay. Does anyone see something interesting here? This is my favorite setup in the world right now.
Full send.
Not that. Anyone know?
Bullish money shot potential.
Ah, there you go. That's and what else do you know there?
Cloud is closed at the bottom.
Guys, this is gonna be my entry for this. Add $2 up, 2 down. Once this hits here, we're gonna rock it at least to here. Is gonna be the final exit if you wanna hold, but I'll hold this for a little bit longer. My period holding on this is gonna be greater than this. I think everyone uses Salesforce, and I think they're just accumulating this. It's a good company, in my opinion.
You're looking at D.
Oh, damn it. I thought it was CRM. I
No.
got so excited. I was like, whoa, damn it. Okay, well, different story on. Ugh. Okay. Not the same story.
We'll edit that one out. It's all right. CR, you cut that.
I mean, can we buy CRM at $58 a share?
Oh, I was like, dude. Yeah, we just tapped weekly. Man, I was like, whoa. Yeah, we're not gonna go over this most likely, but if it comes back to this level, let's say 126, this cloud will not be closed at that time. I will be a buyer here at at this level, I'll be a buyer. Hey, bud, sorry guys, you just got here? Who brought you here? All right. Sorry guys, my son just came back from my brother's house. So I mean, we're hitting this. So there's a high chance of a pullback here to about 146. So we completed the weekly cycle like on a dot. You went from here to here and how long? From, what is that? 31 days. So this is pretty good. Let me just check. Oh, we checked CRM already. So you have this level here, and this would be a nice setup here, I guess, Macari. So if you guys look at this, this is called the bullish money shot. And 90% certainty we're going to 155. So bullish money shots, you break below the clouds right here. Then you get in, then you're going to come back here, and then you're going to proceed higher. And I don't know if you guys watch like ICT models, but all of these concepts carry the same concept of trading. You let it go above, you set up the support, then the orders get filled. This is where they're sitting with the orders right now. So 155, not a bad entry for CRM. If you can get it anywhere below like 140s, like inside the bottom of this cloud, right? If they extend this down, that's great. But first entry for shares can be 155 and then re-adds there. Damn it, I was so excited at 65.
Would you also be potentially adding calls as well around 155?
Yeah, you just have to buy time.
Hmm.
Buy a lot of time.
Okay.
SQ, so if we can hold this, if we can break, I would say, let me just go on daily here for a second. We can kind of break this right now like we did and hold this level. I would say hold 80. Man, this has room to run. On the bottom, you want to be buying this around 672 and 66. This was a great entry here. I mean, 51 was pretty good. Clouds missed it by what? 16 cents. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll down so we. Anyone see anything here that you're interested in?
Could we look at Coinbase? I know it's not for the best, but
It would have to break, I know you're buying higher, but I would be considering that over 80, then it has room to 153 to catch like a massive move. Right now, if you're buying, you gotta be looking at 40. Right here, and then the weekly bottom is, let's see. Weekly bottom is around 37. So still is stuck inside here for me right now. I can't buy just because it has top and the bottom and it's right in the middle. So break the highs, retest probably 70, break these lows. Probably it's gonna go 55 first. At 55, some options could be bought.
thank you.
Shorty, can you check if FVRR is on your list?
Hold on one second, let me just write notes. What was the one?
FVRR.
Oh, that's the fiber, right? Okay, still stuck in the range. Break of 46 sends it much higher. Yep. So let me look a smaller time frame. I would not be looking to add this here. If I was to add, not here, I'd be looking to add it somewhere around 30 on F5 or.
Volume profiles all-time POC is also around 31.
Yeah, this is a really good area right here for, but I might add some this in here. This is not bad. I'll just have to check their financials a little bit. TSN, take a look at that. Wow. What in the world was that?
It's Friday or whatever, the flash crash.
Well, they tapped the weekly top. I'll keep TSN at 60 for me. If I can get 60, I would sell at 71, which is not bad, about what? Almost 20%. guys see something you like, let me know. This company's huge. I don't know how big they are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
They're-
might use other stuff.
Food.
Dude, they are giants.
And big conglomerate.
Yeah. Phew, this is a good price for these guys. This is, guys, this is the setup that's ideal for me. Monthly bottom, weekly bottom. This looks pretty good. I'll add shares this Monday.
Same.
For me, anything below 75. Target 100. They own so many brains. I don't know if you guys know, but they own a lot. Just so you guys see here, they're not like little brains either.
You got a nice earnings gap too.
Yeah, I would definitely look at this. I mean, they just hit everyone culturally, from Asians to Euro to wow, literally everyone's involved here. This is a good company, man. I'll look to add tomorrow on Monday. Ideally, if we can catch a little bit closer to this bottom here, 73 would be ideal. Rejection here, wait here. Yeah, I'm adding this to my list. I like staples, but let's see. Discretionary. You guys like CarMax? Who likes CarMax?
I shorted on the top of the cloud. It get rejected in the middle. I'm still holding it for March
Very nice.
expiry.
XMX. Yeah, I think they're almost perfect there.
There is a news that an activist investor may step in. That's why it's just holding there.
Are they recently IPO or?
No. There was a news broken, like an activist investor is trying to get on board to rebound that company. So it's going on. It was long time back, I believe.
I wouldn't be interested in any of these shares. I don't know, Dumpster, if you got time, just look at their growth, see if they're, I can't imagine them growing.
No, their financials are so bad, Shorty. They have so much of debt.
I wouldn't mind shorting this here where you entered.
Yeah, that's where
Ideally, I
short
want to
it.
short them at 73.
Okay. Thanks, Shorty. I'll add
Yeah, I'm
to my
gonna
short
look at
position.
this on this position. Target would be 50 on this, 53 to 50. You need time. You need a lot of time. You need 4 to 7 months on this. How long did it take from here? Oh, they did this quick. Okay, this is
Put
gonna
like the
come.
end of March, beginning of April.
That's good. I think you'll be okay.
Their margins are horrible.
Are they? Well, I mean, come on.
Fucking 0.58 last quarter.
How's their cash on hand?
I don't know. I'm not that deep into it. I'm not touching CarMax.
Mm-mm.
I mean, how much inventory are they going to have to write down for all the shit that they bought over the last year and a half?
Anyone has, if you, Karthik, if you're on, check the cash on hand.
Yeah,
please.
I'm just checking. Shorty. Give me-
I'm interested in shorting the hell out of this, guys. What's the other company that was funny during COVID? Cars
Carvana.
also.
Caruana,
Carvana.
Carvana.
The
VNA.
CVNA.
Dude.
okay. And let me just show you the power of the clouds. So you guys can understand like why I trust them so much. Well, where do we reject? What is this called? Where's catching rockets? Who knows what's this called? You dip below the clouds and you come back here.
Bearish money shot.
Bearish backdoor.
Bearish backdoor.
Backdoor, okay.
Yeah, above, if they would be here, right? This would be a bullish money shot. You would buy here. I would not buy here. I would not touch this shit. But here it was the bearish money shot. Maybe this candle right here, it did retrace a little bit on Ashi's, right? So they dipped it, they came back, and look at the flush between each one of these levels. Do you guys see the congestion it created between the two? If you think it's accident, it's not. And then the monthly bottom hit perfectly here. This can squeeze, right? This can run, but that's not, when I invest my money for long term and for my kids, I'm not looking to have a heart attack with these squeezes, lucid type of companies. I'm looking for something that they can have long term and not gamble away their wealth, right? So that's the purpose of why I run these scans for myself. I'm not looking for companies like maybe CarMax for now.
Shorty, their free cash flow was negative 2.8 million on 2022. Right now they are on 794,000 for the
Okay,
current
well,
year.
I'm sure, I'm assuming their burn rates a little higher. So
Yeah, their operating cash flow is also negative.
okay, I think this is a good setup for a short for me. So I'll look at that. I think this just have to check the liquidity on the options real quick. Somebody's buying calls. Okay. We'll have to find some other flow, see what somebody has to be heading here. You can't be the only one looking at this crap and wondering why is it going up. But these don't look bad. I mean, not a lot of liquidity here. 5. I'm really interested in this. Okay. That one there for a moment. Somebody, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, it's okay. I was just wondering if there was like a good like reference you would recommend, like a book or something for like the bearish money shot and bullish, because I kind of understand the concept, but I don't really know those patterns.
I'll have to send you my brain.
This is his indicator. He made this.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I don't think you'll find anything on Google.
Yeah, no, I was wondering because I haven't heard them, so I was like, but okay.
If you can find it on Google, that's good.
And I don't think I will.
There you guys go.
I think there is a video from you, Shorty, like sometime back. You covered this clouds. There you had
Yeah, we have the
clearly
clouds.
there is a video on
Catching
on
Rockets
website.
has a couple videos on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Just search his channel. He's got him out there for it.
Thanks.
I don't know about Wayfair. If you guys want I just don't know about these e-commerce websites. I just think there's too many. It's very congested at the moment. I know they sell different things. I don't know about Wayfair. If you guys want Wayfair.
I don't know. Is there any other ones that are like Wayfair though?
I personally can't align with their concept of how they do the business.
Yeah, I don't understand it either, but I've bought shit off there.
And they're really quick. Like I had something, my brother actually bought like one of those, what do you call it? Like lights for a living room, like a chandelier, like a large one. And it comes about like 5 chains. And that by accident, they put one of the chains and it was plastic instead of the like steel. And what do you think happened when a person, because you're not supposed to hook them up when you install them in one, well, this guy installed it by the plastic one and a metal one. The whole thing literally crashed from the ceiling. And we told them, they're like, okay, we'll just send you a new one. And we're like, what? Like, just gonna send us a new one? Like, do you want this one back? They're like, nope.
Yeah, their shipping costs are probably ridiculous for that kind of crap.
Well, but then it's like, who takes a hit? Because they have people that build this for them. So imagine the moms and pops that make this and they're now hit by it. Like, I don't know.
Margins on furniture are ridiculous though. Build
Especially now, if you guys check lumber, we're rising again. So
yeah.
I just can't buy this. I mean, fortunately, it's not for me. If I was to buy it, I'd look at 25. We can go to 7. We can go to 1,000. I would not touch it. But this is a perfect distribution, just so you guys know. Yeah, distribution. So you had, I don't even know where they accumulated here.
Jesus,
like
they do 13, 14 billion a year.
Sales. And what's the profit margin? Like 10%?
Shit, negative 0.96.
Okay, yeah, fuck that. I'm putting my money here.
Can you try the mobile eye?
Say it again.
Mobile eye, MBLY. Probably.
Yeah, okay.
It's further than this.
Oh, they're fairly new.
Yeah.
Enough data for me to look at it on this, so it would be around 30 that they're gonna get a buyer. So that's a good range. I don't. What do they do?
They are on that automotive and other stuff. I think it was spinned off from Intel, I believe. Intel or another company. Let me see.
Oh, you're right. I saw it on the books on Intel.
Yeah, they spin it off like out of them, like this is the profit making and the futuristic. So recently they came as a IPO.
I did see it as a credit on their balance sheet.
Yeah. So it's their autonomous chip
This
or
is an
software.
interesting name. Anyone interesting? I'm thinking if people hate, if somebody wants to screw off on Tesla, me personally, in this autonomous driving, I think you need a standardized platform across United States in order for it to work. That's just my opinion, because if you have different platforms and how they read traffic signs and street names, I think you might struggle a little bit. Who are they selling to? If somebody's bored and wants to look at this a little bit, it might not be a bad play, like early investor. Okay, well, look at the customers.
Wonder why Intel sold it off, other than they needed cash.
So if your company is dying overall and you can shift, that's pretty much what Disney is waiting to do with ESPN. I think they're gonna spin off ESPN and not combine it, and like Amazon with AWS. I would think it'll be a smart move to spin it off. You keep your profitable and you sell the dead weight. Okay, I'm not gonna go into about. Thank you for bringing this up. I saw it on their books and I just didn't know what it was. I figured it was something related, but didn't think they're into this. I like this one. Thank you for bringing it up. This would be not a short-term play for me. This would be super long play.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for long-term charting. Thank you.
But I would like to get it at 30.
I'll keep it on my watch list right now.
It's a good find. Amazon, I already know if you can get this at 70, 80, be patient. Who wants check? Oh, this business is
No.
business, dude. This is done. Think you can short it.
You get Chad GPT to cheat now.
I mean, you can. Isn't this the rental of the books when I was like?
Yeah, it's like book shit and
15 years younger.
It's where they post all the freaking quote unquote study guides, i.e. test answers.
Oh wow. So ChatGPT, like you said, will take these guys. I would short this to about $4, $6. I don't see this company disgusting. Okay, this, I don't care. Garmin. They do anything anymore? Besides watches? They make cool watches if you're outdoorsy.
But I think they are the back-end data provider for Apple Maps.
They are provider for Apple?
Yeah, Apple Maps runs on Garmin technology or whatever that data, I believe, like I may be wrong, but that's what I thought when they
How are their
introduced.
profits? Do you know? Have you checked?
No, Shorty, let me check.
It's at a really good spot for short. That's the only reason I ask. It's at a really, really good spot to short right now. Below 97, I would short this to 90. I don't know if they have options. Yeah, pretty shitty. 69 calls, but okay, move on. We don't want to put that on there. Anyone see anything else? Cool. This one might be interesting.
The profits are stable for the past 3-4 years, not that much of growth.
Do they pay dividends?
I don't think so. Just
2.9%.
Is it growing or dying? The dividends.
Garmin. I don't know. I didn't look that far. I just looked at the total. 73 cents.
Is this the fertilizer company or
Yes.
for outdoors, or is it a food too?
No, Miracle Grow is fertilizer.
Okay. Does anyone know any fertilizer companies for food?
For food?
Yeah, like fertilizers for crop.
For
Oh,
farming.
Yeah.
What was the one that I did before?
I think this is coming up, man. Look at the weekly bottoms, guys. I will offer you guys two options at the end of this call for searching for shares. We can do it monthly or weekly. Weekly, we would search weekly bottoms, and then we can have a monthly session where we search these monthlies, but these weeklies are hitting very good. This is at a good short level. I don't know if they're liquid either. So on options, that is. Yeah, decent. There's a little bit of increase in puts. If somebody's confident. March 70 puts in the money. Do they have ER coming up?
UAN is a fertilizer that I've traded before. It's a partnership though. Yeah, it's a partnership though. You get other
shares.
Mosaic is a big one.
NTR.
Mosaic, MOS.
UAN is shares only.
Yeah. Oh, this one's liquid. Okay, that's what I was expecting to see. We are hitting quarterly top right here on this fella. Man, look at
NTR is also the bigger one compared to Mosaic.
Okay, good. This one is liquid. They just tagged quarterly top. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one on my list. I don't know what to do with it. I just have to do some research.
They were huge when Ukraine was invaded, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking right now. The chart's telling me it was good short, but they tagged this with this weird fucking candle. They completed the cycle where you want to get it. Over 50 has room to, much higher. like 62s, and it could blow the top if the war continues. So that I'm just gonna keep an eye on this MOS for a little bit, because if you guys look at that, have you guys checked the futures on corn? So here's your futures on corn. We're kind of getting ready. If we're able to pop over here, we're gonna jump high again. Like I'm talking about June high. Remember, your costs and per PCE are supposed to be cut in half. Last time it was there was in July. So I really don't know how PC is calculated anymore, but yeah, something's funny. Okay, so that was monthly bottoms. I'm gonna share my chart so you guys can see it. Here. This is all I have here for the stocks that I'm looking on the monthly bottoms. Some of them kind of go over the weekly bottoms, but this is what I'm interested in for now. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go out buy every one of these or that we're gonna get every one of these. So the best way you can deal with this is to kind of look at these levels, right? And then just kind of wait for the entries. So this is the ideal spots, right? Desired price. There's some notes in here. Read them, kind of look at the chart and see kind of where it makes sense for yourself to enter a position. This is my notes for me. I'm just sharing with you guys what I plan on doing. I'm definitely not suggesting for you what to do. But that's all the monthly bottoms. Do you guys want the weeklies, or I'll run a quickly quarterly can just to see if there's anything unusual there. I think Intel eventually is going to be good.
Can you export those runs too? And just dump them out somewhere in case anybody wants to look at the clouds or look at their own charts. Thank you.
For this, if this comes back to 25, I'll start building a small position on INTC. And I'll tell you why as well. So the CHIP Act is one of them. CHIP Act is one of them. I think they're going to be, pumping this. I just think they're killing it right now to accumulate the shares and get people scared. It's a scare tactic. But if you guys look at this chart, like just I'm on 3-month chart right here. You guys see anything interesting here?
Accumulation.
You're coming right up to the POC.
So if you look at 3 months, there's certain things that pop out in my head. This was, if I was to think about this, this was like an order block that came in, and they, for 3 months they were accumulating and they sold it off here. If you guys look at the accumulation on here, right? I'll just grab even the run up and you guys will notice something pretty cool. This is why I say 2021 is going to be great, because at that point, I think the news come out and say, oh, Intel wins this, Intel wins this, Intel blah, blah, blah. And government's just going to bail them out, give them the money, because this is the only, who else is the chip maker, the US based that they love?
Micron. Different.
Okay.
Different scenario though.
Yeah. Well, I
Different
mean,
product.
I think Micron is an uptrend, right? And the other ones are more competitive outside the US. So I think they're going to put a lot of money in here. This is shaping up to be the Boeing of chip makers, in my opinion. So, and I mean, I've never seen Boeing that, I don't think Boeing is ever going to sign bankruptcy, in my opinion. I don't think they'll ever go. You just have to find a good level to get it. Well, guess what? 127 seemed to be a pretty good level so far. They have liquidity here on the higher time frame. So that's why I like Intel. When I say long-term hold, I'm talking about like, this is for my kids that I would be buying, not necessarily in my account, but I'll be buying it for my kiddos here. Just transparent, that's all. 21, 20s, I'll start accumulating this. This is looks like a bullish reversal though. Okay. Just gonna quickly go to quarterly bottom.
Oh, could we see Twilio?
Yeah, can check that one. I remember PayPal. PayPal, in my opinion, was the first one to take a hit. Yeah, I would look, you can add 73. 73 might be not bad for PayPal. I just don't know how, I don't know their portfolio, what they own. I would have to, if I want to put long-term money in this. They own the, is it the Venmo? Do they own Venmo?
Yes, that's correct.
Hmm. So look, this happens not very often, where you have the weekly bottom and a quarterly bottom lined up. And what happened every time you came to it?
Went to the monthly.
Yeah, I mean, it literally bounces to the next line that we have. In this case, it was. So it came here to the weekly and it bounced. I mean, this is a pretty good return. Almost 20% or so. 22%, that's pretty good. So maybe start a small position here, because this would be a bullish money shot on a daily. If you can get it at 73-ish to 72, that's pretty good. I would expect a bounce there and then be ready to add here. That's what I'll plan on. I'll add it, won't add much. Okay. I think Dumpster Check is looking at you and it's like, I want Dumpster to invest, and then it's gonna go higher.
Shorty, can you
All
check
in.
SWK, the Stanley Black and Decker?
Yeah, they're a good company. They own a lot.
Yeah, I
I
bought
talked
and
about this
sold.
last time, right?
Yeah, that's right, Shorty. Even
Wasn't
you
it here?
tweeted about that show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I bought it and closed at the top. I'm thinking
very
to
nice. Yeah.
wait for the bottom again.
Yeah, so it's hitting the quarterly top. They want this higher. Ideally, right? Was, I think we talked about this entry was there. So it's at a really good spot to continue higher here to about 104. I think it'll
Hey,
go to 104.
Also, while we're doing this, and you're deciding your cadence on when you want to repeat and cover this information, could you go to the scan and show everybody the scan? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
there's new individuals who haven't seen that or
Yep.
noticed what it is yet.
Yep, I can do that.
Yeah, because these pop out what daily or something.
Yeah, they scan daily. That's what I say, Twilio, right? So this one here, if you got in on the bottom, that's great. I don't know if I would add here just now. I'm thinking if a recession comes, the contractors, the builders, all these guys, I don't think they'll be looking to buy any of these machinery tools yet. I would like to get it, if possible, somewhere here on the weekly bottom again.
Shorty, in your view, what will be a recession-proof stock? If you agree to that concept called recession-proof stock.
I would be looking for companies like I mentioned. I'm looking at fertilizers.
Okay.
And then I would also look at any liquor companies that are public to invest into them.
Do you think the McCormick will be a recession-proof, like it's related to food items?
I would think they are, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will look at that.
Thanks,
I'll
Shorty.
take a look at Walmart real quick, just for. Yeah, I won't touch Walmart till here. Coming back down.
Can you see Dollar General?
Dollar General is a DG.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Dollar General is good also for recessions. They tend to do well. Dollar General, if it breaks this 220, it's gonna be a quick one. All the way to 190. Yeah, I won't buy it anywhere here. You could buy it at the weekly bottom here, depends on the timings. 226, but I'll be invested more here. I just wonder, how did their cost of shipping, did that impact their profit margins? Because they had those container costs and whatnot. I don't know. I would look at their financials a little bit more.
Yeah, in my view, Shorty, they are $1 everything, but now I see that almost everything is $1.25, $1.30.
Okay, so the
They are-
model is changing.
Yeah, they are introducing a lot of sort of elite type, which is $3. So I think that's what they are trying to cover, or maybe increasing their thing. I had to check the
Help that margin,
financials.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on this, but this would be my monthly bottom is what I want. They just they never got to the monthly top, but if they do 270, that might not be a bad short as well. Ideally, 225-ish. If we break this 220, lose this cloud, it's gonna be quick. It's gonna fly $30 in a blink of an eye.
Actually.
MM is the one I was looking for to see where it's at. Yeah, this is setting up here. Finally, good. This one has a little caution on it just because the lawsuits that they had, and I think they're trying to bring it down to its knees. And that would be, yeah, this would be right here. I'll be interested here at this level. They completed the whole cycle here perfectly, guys. Here to here, right? Weekly bottom top. Now we're watching this at 110. I like this company, right? And if you guys don't know, you should read into it. What was the level? 132 and then 152. Okay. So this is the big clouds, right? We can run the, weekly. I can send them to you guys as well. If I run this, it's gonna be a lot less long list. Well, maybe not so long here.
Shorty, can you check CVS? It's really low. I don't know what the clouds show though.
Yeah, let's check it. Wants Pfizer. Yeah, CVS is on the weekly bottom. Knock. I know you guys looked at Knock lately. Okay. Let's look at CVS. I was holding for dear life. Once it reclaims this level right here, this is a great opportunity to go long. Call it 87.5 because it does have a nice bull flag here when you think about it, right? They're giving retail a really good look here for their money. This is a good spot for a swing. I'll add this to my list actually for Monday. Come on, where's my mouse? Good find. That'd be the plan on this one, unless they really want to slice this down, then the quarterly bottom is 54. If they lose this level here, this is gonna be the quickest drop you've ever seen in your life. So losing 75 is really bad. Okay. Now I will check if anyone has any other requests that you might not have seen on this. If you guys have tickers or ideas or whatever. Anyone?
XBI, the biotechs, they've been hot.
XPI.
B boy.
Oh, BI. Yeah, they're gonna be really good even at 75. They're gonna bring them back to 75. First 82, they'll get a bounce. Then they're gonna bring them 75. I'll look to add there. Or over 100, they can really pop. Like they can pop 20%. Okay, yeah, that's not bad. I mean, this is an ETF, so it's not. It reminds me of XLC the way it has this set up. So this is pretty much a good, for learning. This has identical Lyckoff, right? So you have an accumulation, then you have the markup right here, then you have a little bit of exhaustion here. And then here comes, true markdown happened from this range here to the bottom, and they broke this range on the bottom. Markdown, and now they're accumulating. If you can catch it somewhere here, if you just look at this. Like if you can look at this somewhere around here, the 50% or below right here at 61.8. So 75, I think good. Definitely watch this 75. Okay, what else?
EWLO Trilio.
Oh, Twilio. I'm sorry, I think I said I swallowed that one. So this one tapped. This one tapped the weekly bottom perfectly. I mean, 60%, that's up to 30, 40% almost from there. A little bit less than 40. So ideally, if we want to see it run, let it come here. It needs to go a little bit inside here. Let it come back, and this would be a good opportunity to go long, and it would have a run here like that. If it breaks below the daily here, it has a little bit less reward to short it here. Ideally, you want to catch I would want to catch at least shares around 50. I'm not gonna buy Twilio. I think aren't they the plugin on like Salesforce for chat and whatnot? Is that their business?
Not sure.
Or looked at it. I know my wife and her marketing team uses Twilio. Yeah, they use
There are a lot of
APIs.
APIs for
Yeah.
the CRM platforms.
I just don't see long term why can't Salesforce build that into their own platform?
Okay.
Unless they got some proprietary stuff, which I don't know, but I'll be looking at 50 and the bottom here is 43. It has an open at 15 as well. There's somebody probably sitting there. So not something I would look into to buy personally.
Thank you.
It can run. I have to check financials, but it can definitely go here to 81. So if we can hold this, I might play with option. I've traded it before in option. It's not very, the spread is weird on Twilio, at least last time I played, maybe it got better. Okay. What else? Do you guys have anything else?
Shadi, can you check Tesla? Like is it time for
I'm short
starting or
Tesla.
just?
I'm short Tesla already.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for that all-time high AWAP or VWAP.
Yeah, so here you go. This is probably gonna be the entry for it. Volume profile. Why did it do that? Why did it tag
And
this?
it was giving me 183 or something like for me to
Yeah, for
start
me it was.
exiting and short.
Yeah,
You
so I
also
think it
posted, I
has a
believe, like
has a chance to go here from the clouds perspective, and this would be a really nice rejection. It's a weekly mid. I'm short March 17th. Let me tell you which ones. I forgot. Just open my Fidelity real quick. I am in March 17th. Here we go. March 17, 170. I'm down 1% on those, so I just started a small position, not full yet. But there's obviously, if you guys look, there's a nice accumulation here where we had it, right? So there was accumulation, rotation, whatever you want to call it in this area. And the reason why I got it was right here. So, and I bought a little bit more time just so IV doesn't crush me because of the earnings. And if they decide to drop a little bit more, it was less. So I'll be looking at this right here. And if you guys remember, look at this bounce right here. I mean, daily bottom is not important, but you have a little bit of levels here. They stopped me out on this flush here. I think that was this one here, 128. But that's okay. All right. Anyone else on anything here?
sure.
Okay. If that's it for the scan, I'll post this right now. I'll save it, and then we're gonna switch to like the VP class, the beginner version of it, and I'll need a 5 minutes break, and then I'll come back on.
Thank you.
Shadi, is it going to be the repeating for new joiners? I just want to confirm.
That's correct. Yeah, it's just mainly for new joiners starting from scratch on VPs. We'll trade. We won't cover as much PowerPoint as we will live action on VP and teachings. Okay.
Thanks, Shadi.
So let me
I'll
upload
drop out later.
this. Right.
Yeah, hi Shadi. So I'm just checking like how can you use that clouds actually? So do we have any TOS scripts which can be added?
Yeah, you guys have them on TV. You guys can use that. It's similar charts on TV. The only thing that you guys are not gonna line up with is the 4-hour clouds. You guys will not. It won't match mainly due to the candle close between TOS and TradingView. They use a little bit of different math on closing of the candles and calculation of the candles, but all the other clouds should match. So yeah, TradingView, we have the indicators for you on that.
And we can be use these clouds for the options also, right? Based upon the weekly and monthly bottoms or
That's correct.
yeah. Okay.
That's correct. Yep. Good question. Okay. I'll just need 5 minutes break, guys, just to get some water and step away, and then I'll hop back on and we'll cover the VP. Okay.
Shadi, thanks for your time.
So much,
All right.
Shorty.
Hello, guys.
Shorty.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome back.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I just had to get a little bit of energy back. All right, well, let's start with some of the simple stuff. So you guys, if you're new to the market, you have to understand a few things, right? The market structured, the way market operates, right? In terms of market auction theory. So we'll start with, talking about, how the market creates structures. And if you use Elliott waves, it's great. If you don't, then understanding higher highs, lower highs, the break of those and such is fairly important. There's a lot more to price action than higher high, lower highs, right? There's volume imbalances, there's orders that come in that break those. We call them, right? Breaking through support or resistance, initiative buyers or sellers, they become active. And when I say active, that means a little bit more aggressive than typical. So with that being said, actually, I'm gonna do something as well. Gonna record this session and I will add some notes to it. So here we go. All right, so we'll start with just talking about the weekly highs, the lower lows. So if you guys know, higher highs on SPY here put out. And ever since then, we had the higher high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now we're kind of coming up to the level right here that's fairly interesting on SPY. We'll use SPY for the most of this discussion. We're coming up to that 410 level, which a lot of people are watching. I've noticed a lot of people looking at it. Once we break this, we're going to change, the behavior. We're going to be more bullish. In my opinion, I stand by the 430 level, and this will be somewhere around this range for me. Just because this was a major flip, right? This is where the distribution started happening, right? And this is where the sellers kind of took over. This is kind of what I'm talking about here. So this range, you had support right here, support here. So you had a higher high, you had a lower high, and then, it kept going all the way lower here. And then you have a lower high. And now, you're testing this. You came very close here. You didn't tap it. In case we're able to hop over this level, that would make a first higher high on a weekly since forever, right? Since what is this, 2020 January? So that would be a big deal, right? And then we're still making, we had lower lows. You had, a low here, you had a low here, low, low, lower low. And now you're making, higher low here. Plus, if you make a higher high, what does that make? Does anyone recall?
Trend reversal.
That'll be a trend reversal, right? By the books, that's a trend reversal. The only thing that I'm interested here is kind of finding out if this trend reversal has enough beef, to get over this level of 430. And I honestly think that's going to be the key level for the reversal. So far, all lower highs, all lower lows. We made a higher low here. We just need to hop over this. And my sentiment would change a little bit if we are able to kind of break this level here, 431.73, and kind of hold it and consolidate, right? I personally don't think, this is just my personal opinion, that we accumulated enough to go to all-time highs. Not, it's not out of picture that they won't, but let's see if they can hold these levels. So far, that's the market structure. You always start with the bigger picture, so where's the market. Are you bear sentiment overall or bullish? So now, if you switch to, let's say, daily, the picture changes a little bit, right? So these levels still remain. We'll delete this trend line for a little bit. These levels still remain, but now, the swing picture on these, and there's a cool indicator if you guys care for it, at least on the one I liked, it's called double zigzag. I think I just had it. Yeah, it's this one here. It's a pretty cool indicator that gives you the macro and the micro trends. So these purple lines and blue lines, the purple is downline. And you guys see that this is, a big swing of lower high to lower low, but in between you have these low trends, lower high, lower low. And that happens as well on daily here. We had a higher, lower high here put in, and then, we came back, made a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and now you're making kind of lower highs compared to here, still making higher lows on a bigger trend. On a smaller trend, you put in a lower low, and now you still have a lower high. You guys see that? Does everybody follow so far? Higher high, and then you have a lower high. You had a higher low. You made a lower low. On a bigger trend on daily, you're kind of reversing right now. There's no confirmation yet. We're short here, but it's not looking as bullish as some might make it seem like, right? So just overall the structure, weekly, daily, check, see, make sure you understand, that higher high plus higher low is bullish trend, and then lower high plus lower low is bearish trend. Okay. So keep that in mind as you're trading. Always start on weekly and daily, just so you have it. Then where the expertise of the market come in, at least for myself and the way I trade, is using volume profiles to figure out, what's going on. So everybody's familiar with the, the x-axis volume, which tells you the pretty much volume, at the level, not at the level, I'm sorry, at the time, how big is the volume per day? Is it greater than the day before? But what the volume profile does is basically tells us the volume on the y-axis, right? So and it gives you the key support and resistance levels instead of the x-axis, which you just see here. So hopefully you guys can distinguish this. So if you're able to kind of see once we start in, this volume is important as well. We use that for analysis on volume, but this one here is also important. So when you combine those two, you're kind of able to produce key levels of support and resistance and to know the aggressiveness and the exhaustion. So we'll kind of get into all of those. So there's a couple of different volume profiles. So if you guys go under indicators and you go under technicals, go to volume profile, you'll have a few. I don't use the first one. The fixed range volume profile is the one that I use a lot. So what that means is basically that I'm just grabbing, a point from here to here. I'm interested to see the volume. So if I grab this, and I can change these settings real quick. Just don't know why they changed. So this is the settings here, and then I usually change this row size to 100. And I keep my value area volume at 68. We'll cover, quickly why the 68. So if you guys think about standard deviation in the bell curve, right? And if you guys just kind of flip it, you usually have the mean, right? And then you have the standard deviations to the left and the right. The first standard deviation is kind of made up of 68.2%, and that's what the value area is here. Value area is nothing more than just the area where 68% of the volume took, place. So if you guys don't look at this fixed profile that we kind of picked up from this high of September 12th all the way to current, a lot of value and volume was traded in this yellow area that I highlighted. So that is our value area right here. And then inside the value area, there's 3 points that, usually show up. First one is that you have the value area high, which one is it's right here. Let me see. Well, don't have a value area high, but this is our value area high here. We'll mark it. And I usually tend to mark these depending if you're looking at weeklies or not. So let's see here. And this is our value area low. What the value area high means and the low is that this is the high of this value area. It just means value area high. And the bottom is the value area low, which means it's the bottom of the value area. As you come to this price point here, this is going to act like as a major support. So you can expect buyers to come in here and they will most likely defend it just like they did in this case right here. They brought it back down and look at this value area. They're like, okay, well, this is good enough, right on the money. They bounced it. For right now, if you look at it, we popped over this value area so far. The previous 2 times that we went over, the buyers were not there. There was no value found above this level. So they're able to quickly bring it back inside. And usually when you go back inside the value area like you did here, you drop, come in, come back inside, there's a high chance you're going to go reach the opposite extreme, meaning from value area high to the value area low. Okay. I'm grabbing a lot of volume here. So I'm grabbing from September to current. It's almost, what's that, like 4 months. of data that's being grabbed, and we can grab smaller periods using fixed volume profile. So if you guys look, you can also favorite the fixed volume profile. So if you go, I believe it's here. Yeah, if you click on this little guy right here, and then you click on the fixed range volume profile, you can put this little favorites thing, and then you'll get this little guy to come up, and you can definitely rearrange these things here. I like to use it here instead of finding anything in here because it's just quick as I'm charting. So if I click this, so now away, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm interested in a smaller period, right? If I want to know where the buyers are, you know, and what levels they might defend, I can use the fixed volume profile to find where the buyers were adding or re-adding to their positions in an uptrend. So the key is finding a kind of like a swing low and a swing high. What I mean by that, from here we have, where's my arrow? Swing low, and then we go all the way to swing high, which would be, let's say, up to here. So we made new highs. You know, you put in a low, and then you made higher high, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then here you start kind of making, as we call them, equal highs, right? So usually that's, you know, a level that most people notice, and that magically comes back to be that 410 level that we initially talked about, which is also our weekly higher high if we are to break above that. So now if I know that this is where the buyers accumulated and they're able to send that, you can use fixed volume profile multiple ways. I can grab this from here to here if you're looking for pullback, quick pullbacks, and I can see, you know, if you come back here, I can most likely expect buyers to show up at this level, and they did, right? So if you guys look, they showed up here, and I usually like to do this. So here's the buyers, you know, at the top, they added, and, you know, they created an imbalance with this candle here. They broke the range. Then they came back and kind of ran it back to the top. I usually, when I look at a volume profile like this around shelves, especially POCs in this case, I like to draw even zone around it. Sometimes it's not. You guys see, like, I can grab this bottom here, but I like really grabbing kind of even amount around the POC, just kind of keeping like a standard deviation around it. And this is treated for me as a zone. What I mean by that, this is for now is a demand zone for retracement. If we come back to it, there's a high chance you're going to bounce from that. Usually I play the first taps, especially, I mean, on the daily scales or even shorter scales. I like the first tap from the imbalance. And I'll give you guys an example as well. So now if I'm interested to know on a bigger picture, because I'm looking on daily and a weekly, that means I'm interested in swings. If I find an accumulation on a weekly level, like let's say on this level here, so finding an accumulation is fairly easy, right? If you see an overlapping candle, that means that, you know, there's no clear price action. We're not really putting higher highs or lower lows. We're just accumulating, and you're watching for body of the candles overlap or the wicks. In this case, there's not a lot of clear direction, right? Usually when you're trending up, even though I'm on the weekly, you want the bodies of the candles kind of stacking and going higher. And see here, there's another accumulation here. It's really kind of clear that they're accumulating, or it might be a distribution. In this case, it was an reaccumulation. Okay, so we want to spot these. And usually what happens, they accumulate here for so long, and then they create an imbalance. And then they run from here, and they tend to come back to these levels to revisit POC. So if I was to grab this, I would just grab the range where it stops. So in this case, ideal level, you know, if I'm a swing trader, right, I'll be looking to get this area here. And this is called the volume accumulation setup that we kind of trade a lot. So if you come back here, there's a high chance you're going to get a nice little bounce at 338 based on the fixed volume profile where we accumulated, right? And that would be kind of right, I guess, yeah, right on with the pre-COVID highs in this case here. So that'd be an interesting level to go long because the buyers will most likely defend their positions, okay? And the same can be done on the bear side. So if you guys think about this now, let's just go on a daily time frame, and it's kind of clear that there was one here. If you guys look at this level right here, so there was some accumulation, longer accumulation here between 410 and let's say 391, so a pretty wide range. And if you look at this whole picture here, our POC was here, and then let's see, they came back here. They almost trapped some, well, they did trap some people here on the short side, and you would have probably been stopped out in this case if you're swinging. And this is to say that not every setup that we have as traders is going to work. That's why it's important that your risk management is better than anything else, as such as profit taking. You want to make sure your levels where you're going to stop out are right on. So if you look at this right here, we accumulated in a really wide range. So it's pretty wide in terms of like pinpoint where exactly you might reject. You know, they almost pushed it to 410 here, right? Which is a big level. But then, you know, you have the value area high of this zone here as well, sitting around 4178. If we fall back inside of that, high chance we're going to go to the opposite spectrum of that, right around 392. And then below 390, 391, things tend to open up for it. So the key is finding accumulation setups, right? Daily, weeklies, and maybe 4 hours for swings. When we trade intraday, we like to use 30 minutes, or I like to use 30 or 65 minutes to look for intraday setups, right? And sometimes we go in smaller time frames. If you're looking only at like a daily session, we like to kind of go smaller time frame because you're going to react much quicker, right? So, and lately we haven't had a lot of retests because it's just been, you know, we dip in the morning and then we run the whole day, similar to what happened on last day and the day prior to that. Small dip and then rip, right? And we were able to catch some of these using extended hours. So I'll just kind of go here and add this. And here's an accumulation that's interesting. And we usually note when something is an extended hours just because the volume during that time is much lower. So this doesn't mean it was a, you know, high volume accumulation. They did spend a lot of time, and, you know, you could use different profiles such as market profile to find, you know, where's the POC based on time spent at a level versus the volume here and how heavy was it. So if you guys look here, if I grab this zone here, it's going to say the POC was right around this level where we accumulated the highest. So we did take this trade, I believe, Friday. We took it a little bit lower here. We grabbed smaller area because we kept it, I believe, to here. This was our, not here. It was something like this, if I recall. So we grabbed this area right here, and this was our entry. Was pretty much the low, and I think it was the PD value area high at that time. So it was something like this that we played. We waited for the entry and we went long here and kind of drove this higher. So this was a re-entry based on the open drive setup as well as the volume profile accumulation, right? So from here we accumulated, popped higher, and we're coming back, and this is your entry. You put your stop entry right below the zone or the low of the day or pre-market low of the day, and you can kind of enjoy the profits from there. So this is how you use volume profile. You find uptrend, downtrend, and you look for accumulations to see where potentially they can re-add, right? And if you go on 30 minutes, let's look at the bigger picture, right? So let's say we're looking from Thursday, January 19th. We accumulated here and all the way to the end here. Let's see what happens. So this is our value area, high, low, and they seem to be, you know, playing within this area right now overall. So we popped here, we reclaimed this POC, but we held the value area low nicely, reclaimed the POC and popped. So I'm grabbing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 8 days of data, but I now have key levels and resistance and support points where where the stock, you know, will bounce or reject. So for me, for instance, if we're able to drop below this level right here, the yellow area, high probability that we're going to be looking to go down to this level. So 400. Once you break this 404, most likely you hit the 400, you lose this POC, it's the 395 level. So this fixed volume profile is telling me just from point A, point B, that you select what is the volume looking like. And you can utilize this in many different ways. Like I said, you can look at the bullish, where the buyers are. And then if you go on the time, we haven't really been bearish here for some time. If you look at this cell here, you can also grab from here to here and be like, okay, well, this level right here is interesting. You know, as you come to it, there's a high chance for rejection. You know, of course, they set up a trap there, but then you see any other shelf that's around there that might act as resistance as well. So if you guys look here, this is a pretty high volume node. High volume nodes are these, think about like sticks that come out to the right or left, depending on how you shape your volume profile. the skinny bellies where you don't have volume, like this guy right here. So if you guys look right here, this is considered a skinny belly, meaning low volume node. There's really no volume here, and stocks tend to go flying through here. Just like we had no volume here, no volume here, and you see the stock really accelerates. If you go here, the stock picked up once it dropped and lost this value area low here that I'm trying to kind of get to. We accelerate. And when you lose value areas like this and this bottom here, if you lose this line here and this one, that means the concentration of volume that you're going after now, there's not a lot of liquidity. There's a high chance you're going to speed up once you lose value areas. Means you're going to search discovery into finding new value areas where there's potentially value, whether it's higher or lower based on price action. Okay. So that's pretty much how you can use fixed volume profile. I usually use it, if we are looking for a rejection like we are right now, I like to look at the bigger picture, smaller picture, just so I know where are we and what's the chance of a rejection at a certain point. If you guys look at the, the whole concept what we covered earlier, lower highs, we started them from here. If you go here, but there's a, there's a high chance for now that this is an important level because this is the value area low of this whole rundown from here to the last candle lowest low. This is the value area and we're almost peaking inside. So if you're able to get inside of here and accept this as a new area, well, I mean, there's a high chance that you could go to 471 eventually because you would be playing inside the area and we have a high probability to reach the opposite extreme of the value area low, which would be here. Okay. So that's how you can use it. In this case, this is the third largest shelf on this since the highs. And it's sitting right here right now, which kind of combines with that 410 level that we talked about. Okay. Any questions on fixed? I think I covered that one to death, right? Let's see. I'm just going to take session breaks off and just kind of reiterate. So from here to here, I'm just grabbing. You have the POC, which is the highest amount of volume traded. You have your value area high, value area low. The high and the low of the profile are here, usually where it ends on the profile. That's what you're grabbing. So in this case here. So I'm grabbing from here to the right. This is what the volume profile is telling me. Any questions on fixed volume profile, how you can use it and the purpose of it?
I do have a question about the actual color of the volume profile. Notice that you changed yours because mine actually is like mixed. It doesn't look like half and half, kind of like that. So I was trying to figure out how to fix that to where it looks more like yours, where the darker color in the middle.
Yep. So the up volume, down volume, I changed these to something lighter, and then value area up and down, I change them to darker just so I can. It on my eyes, it literally tells me focus on the black. On the white background, and of course, if you use black, maybe switch it up to something lighter so you can see it. And I use here 85 transparency on black, and here's like a third grade from the top at 45% each. Well, maybe this one needs to be changed.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from anyone?
Yeah, Shorty, you on your charts you will be keeping the levels like December month, September month
We'll get
levels,
into that.
right?
That's correct.
Okay.
We'll get into that. This is just fixed profile. Does everybody understand how you can find the buy and sell levels, support and resistance using fixed? Okay. A trick that I do when we're consolidating for a very long time, such as let's say here, if you guys look, we consolidated here in this box right here. I would say, from here to here, this was basically your rotation or accumulation here. Then, they did something called a test, right? They tested it here. They brought it back inside. I don't personally treat this as a retest. I need it to go a little bit higher and then come back. And this was a good retest of the structure. What I like to do in these cases when I'm trading is I like to grab the consolidation if you're trading in a range, and in the PowerPoint that you guys have in the Discord, I give you exact scenarios that I trade here. I'm not going to cover them in this video, but there's a way to trade these ranges with volume profile and the structure high and lows. And we cover that, and with the scenarios, literally every scenario that you have is covered in the PowerPoint. So I definitely suggest that you go back, if you're trading these ranges and you're looking forward to them, kind of go through it and look at it, right? But here, this tells you within the range, where's the key 50% and the POC. In this case, it's sitting at 380. And as you guys know, we can use the fibs to figure that out. So if you guys go here, the fib is saying at 382 is not a bad profit if you're buying from the value area or SSL low here or value area low. So if you're getting in here, you can trim at the POC and 50%. And then you have the value area high here, which is really, really tight concentration and volume here. And then the next exit would be the SSL high here. So hopefully, you guys can understand why I use accumulation POCs or cumulative whenever it's ranging like this, because I want to know where's the key point in the middle of the magnet, the top and the bottom, okay? Right, so,
do we able to know during the accumulation if we use the volume profile? How can we know like it will go above the POC or it will go down the POC? Like I'm just asking, like it will be a downtrend or uptrend. How can we justify after seeing the accumulation?
we don't care. We don't care which way
Okay.
this goes right here. We personally don't care. What we care about is now this is where the patience comes in, and you're waiting for this to be brought back to this level. And what do you do at this level? What would you do?
Wait for some sort of retest.
Yeah, we're gonna wait for the retest here because from this area there was a major imbalance created here, right? We came back and tested the SSL high, which I just showed you here. We came back and tested this high, which was good, right? It was a great bounce. But once we come back to this 380, there's going to be a lot of buyers to defend that level. They accumulated here for some time, so I don't care which way we break. I'm not interested to guess that we're going to go higher or lower. I just know that there's going to be buyers, and I'll be buying with them. If we went down, right? Same way if we went down and you come back to it, we'd be looking to short. Okay. So good question, but it's not a guessing game. It's more about, hey, repeat system and a process where you can trade repeatedly off of it. Okay. The next one in the list, so you have the periodic volume profile, and that was a question that you asked previously. So we treat this one multiple ways, right? So if you guys look at this, there's multiple ways to treat, I guess I can't hide that. This is multiple ways to treat it here. So if you click on this, you can choose dailies, weeklies, and monthlies. So sometimes we do 12 months just to see where the POC is. If you guys look at this, so this is our POC here. We'll change this to 68. And now it'll give us, this is our yearly POC, basically accumulates the data for a full year. If you guys think about here is January and here is January again. So full year of data and volume profile is accumulated. Why it's important to have this? Well, because levels tend to be really respected around volume profile and these yearly levels. You guys saw it, if you're in the group and trading, when we got the bounce, I'm pretty sure you guys knew that this was coming because it was the value area high of a certain year that we were kind of watching here, right? So let me make sure that that was the value area high of 2020, and we came back right to it. And the buyers were there to protect that level, so they bounced it right off. We got inside this value area here, which is the current year of 2022. I'm sorry, previous year 2022. We reclaimed that, we accepted it, and now we're generating 2023 data, which we're not really interested in at the moment. But we are above 2022 POC right now, which was a 395, fairly big level. So if the history and the rules repeats itself, there's a high chance that they can push this all the way to 436. And from analysis standpoint, now you see that this area right here, which was 2021 POC, matches kind of the value area high of 2022. So that's the confluence you're looking for. There's a strong magnet there that it might pull towards that. In between, of course, you're going to have some levels of rejection, right? So if you look here, there was a massive shelf here generated previously. We came here, you guys look at this little area, and we dumped from that area. So now if I'm interested, just to bring you back to the fixed volume profile, if I'm interested to see where's this level, what was the POC exactly, I can highlight it here and I'll draw a POC and watch this. This is one of the really good setups in volume profile accumulation. So from here, we created a major imbalance. You guys see that there was a lot of aggressive selling, right? And even some, really nice gaps. Then they, initially here, you would have shorted it and we would have lost money because we would have been stopped out because they reclaimed the POC and went higher. But what happened? Does anyone know what happened? That's an A+ setup here that worked like a charm.
The break and the retest.
Exactly. This is the beauty that that I identify in all of our teachings. You drop from here, you're gonna do some accumulation. You're gonna usually come back here and short. That's called a setup, right? And then you look for your volume. You short it up to here, and that's great. If you can catch something for 11,395, beautiful. But what they did something because they know people are watching certain levels, so they accumulated here, dumped. Then they cleared higher. They set up a nice little trap here, went higher, but then they lost that POC. And look at that entry right here. So this is a A+ setup here. So you break above it, you really do not show a lot of strength. The volume is not really picking up drastically on this break right here. And then you come back, and this was a perfect retest entry for short. And then you can target different volumes, right? Where to take profit. So if you look at this area like we did earlier, if you shorted here, your first exit could have been at 399. Then you had a shelf here that there was a bounce, and all the way down to this POC, you could have been driving 375. And the last liquidity area was right here. That would have been your last point, maybe to take the money off from here. So that would have been a good 50 points here to here. We mark these on our charts, right? So if you guys look, if I was to mark this one, for instance, let's pretend we're charting. You have a level here. So this is our, say, we don't have the yearly. We'll add yearly, but this would be our yearly value area high. And this is an important level, especially the next one that we're going to put here, because this is going to be where the price is going to gravitate towards. And I usually, like I mentioned, I will have a nice little zone around it. And this would be our 2022 POC. So we'll mark that one. And then we'll go ahead and look at this as a value area low. This is our value area low. Let's see, I mismarked this one. I apologize. Not yearly. So now we know if the stock price is inside of this box, as the way I sometimes like to visualize and explain it. This is the value area of previous year. So as long as we're in here, that means we're in balance. It means we're happy trading, and it's a pretty wide range that we had from 436, 373, almost like what, 50 something points. So it's a good range to have. If you break certain levels using volume profile, you can figure out where you're going next. But now you have these levels marked. You can also change this, right? If you want to see the monthly, that means, you click here on the monthly, you would click 1 month, and you would change this. And I usually like to look at it on 4 hours when I'm looking at monthly. And now here's our month, right? So here's our December value area high sitting right here at 396. Let's see. I don't know why this is. We have too much. I didn't get to POC yet to mark value area. So if this is our range, just a kind of tip, when you're trading here, I would suspect that you guys are not really interested to take a lot of trades inside this area, because this is going to be a heavily congested area in terms of volume as well. Because you look to the left, this is your November POC kind of running right through the middle. 22 POCs right in the middle. So this is your kind of like a pivot. Like this area is your pivot. You break below this level, high chance, you know, you could probably visit 373 rather quickly. If you break above, you know, like this level that we're above now, which is our January. So that means we're kind of outside of the value area for current year. I'm sorry, for current month. So we are right about 402. If you get back inside of this, right? If you break inside of this, there's a high chance you're going to most likely do something like this. Right? You have the POC. There's potentially a bounce right at 400 just because the retail is really interested in this. And then you can definitely mark this, right? This would be developing POC. Doesn't mean it's complete. And you'd be looking to kind of see how you react at that level. I would think there's going to be a buyer sitting there or multiple buyers defending their positions. But maybe below 400, you can short $4 and that'd be a great win. So that's how, you know, you can kind of use and combine this data to look at it. And then, you know, of course, we use the 7-day balance as well. So you will change this to day and you will put 7. That will give you that. You go on 65 minutes. Now you have 7-day balances here. And, you know, we use this area a lot. And if you guys remember that we use this on, on Friday, did anyone use this on Thursday, Friday? I did, and I was live, and I explained to you that there was a bounce coming here on ES when we charted ES. So this was a perfect bounce off of it, and it was also a previous week value area high. So you can use PVP, periodic volume profile, to change it. You know, if you want to change it to a weekly, you would go here and you would put 1 week, or you could change it to 5 and a day. You would get the same data. So in this case, right, you see here we had a great bounce on the weekly previous week high when we were trading this. Hit to a penny and then kind of went higher. Any questions on PVP? I think we covered a lot of it. And it's about getting creative when you're doing it. It's really not like science, right? If I want to see quarterly, I can go to 3 months, click this, maybe go on 4 days daily and look at it, right? Now I have a quarterly view of where we are. So we're out of the balance here. 2022 value area high sitting at 412. So if you look at this, so Q3 from 2022 is here. So this would be kind of like Q3 value area high. And we don't mark these lines just to have the lines, but we mark it so we know, you know, for instance, this level here, which kind of lines up perfectly here. You guys see this 2022 value area low? So now I know, you know, the Q3 value area high and low is here. 22 is from here to here. So I'm able to kind of distinguish in my head and visualize in which balance are we in. Are we in the quarterly? Are we in the monthly? Are we in the weekly, yearly? So right now we are inside the 2022 balance. We're also inside the Q3 balance. And we're almost, I would say almost here. Let's see how we do. Well, as of Friday, we are outside of the Q4 2022 balance. So this is our Q4. And it might look like a lot of levels, but these are major levels, and you'll see how they play out. And let's see, and you guys see here, if I was to put that level, this would be our, and I usually color code this, but it's just for purpose of time. I won't. And now if you look at these levels, how did they hit? Boom. They hit here, they held, broke, retest. Now they accept it, maybe accept it. It's not really a push. If they come back here and they defend it, that'd be great. Then they have a room to go higher to the 412. Okay.
So Shorty, these are lot of levels, right? How you play? Like so many levels. These are the lot levels are there, right? So how you play like during the day trading?
Yep, so that's what I was explaining. I look at it in terms of balances, so I know where are we in balance, where are we not in balance. If I know, I'll hide this for a second. If I know the whole thing is my 2022 value area high, then I'll look in the smaller areas to see where are we in balance or out of balance. For the year of 2022, we're in balance. We regained it when we got back inside here on December 22nd. We accepted it here, we popped, and we held it, right? So now I'm looking to see on smaller periods of volume profile, where are we in balance and out? So Q4, we're out of balance, meaning we're seeking for new area. New area top is sitting right here, so there's a high chance that we're going to be pushing towards this level, towards 412 to test the extreme of Q3 value area, right? So my Q3 value area low is right here, and the high is right there. So I see it as a term of boxes. If we come back to this level right here, see this blue area is my 2022 Q3. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll look at it to see where the price can go and where's the new value area that they can attach to. Where do they want to take the price? And these levels, like I mentioned in the beginning, are support and resistance lines. And I just showed you on a smaller time frame, if you're intraday trading and you're seeing a major level like Q4 value area high, well, here's your dump. You have some patterns here, and there's a kind of the bounce right off of that level. Now, if they come back to this and they defend this level, that means they're accepting the area. Once you break outside of the area and you come back, that means you're either, if you bounce from it, that you're going to accept it and you go long here. Your initial inclination is to go, long from here. If you're looking to short it, you need to go below it and then you short from the downside and then you target the next levels that you have for the downside. So this is, once you break above value areas, looking for retest to go long. Once you get back inside, you're looking for a short retest underneath, and then you're shorting. They're basically trying to make sure you're going with the trend and that you're trading with the big boys.
Shorty, can we use Q4 value area, which is a broad value area for intraday? I guess.
If you're close to the levels, you can use it as bounce points, but you cannot make assumptions, right? Hey, we are Q4. We just broke Q4 here. You can definitely use this as a bounce. So it's not a bad opportunity. If you look here, it was resistance, nice volume here and candle break. You came back for a quick retest, but now if you're able to bring it back to this level, it's not a bad area to go long and then put a stop loss somewhere below. Because then, you have some levels that you can also play if you're day trading right below 403, 402, 401, 400. And then you have a really nice open space, right here, which is, high chance you're going to fly through it if you get there. Okay.
Okay.
So that's PVP, just in case you're not familiar with it. We use that for, finding the value areas of the weeklies, the monthlies, the quarterlies, yearlies. And you can almost do it for a couple of years, right? Some people go crazy creative with these levels, right? So if I wanted to grab, PVP here, let's say I want to grab it for 3 years, I can look at this and be like, okay, well, let's look at it for 3 years and go from there, right? And they'll find it. So here's your 3-year view of the 3-year review of volume profile. So you have a VPOC here on the bottom. We'll cover VPOC shortly.
Shorty, that is not 3 years.
It's not. No.
Yeah, but look at the amount of data from left to right. It's not 3 years of data.
It seems like max is 1 year. So, yep. Yeah, you're right. So it maybe doesn't allow here more than 3 years to grab, but you can grab 3 years if you need it, right? So if I know this is 1, 2, 3, I can use fixed volume profile. I can grab 3 years right here, and this would be a 3-year volume profile. Okay. And we are very close here, 344. This is, I guess, a POC of epoch for 2020 right here. So this is going to be tapped sooner than later at 323. Okay. Any questions on PVP? Okay, so hopefully that answers some of the questions you guys might have. Then the favorite that we have is a session volume profile. We use that obviously daily, and it's a daily session volume. So it means for each day that you have, you're going to have a session volume profile. A lot of market readers, I use it to digest what the market's doing in terms of volume profiles, whether there's a high chance continuation or traps, and that's really not level 0. That's a little bit more of probably the highest level you're going to get in volume profiles, understanding the shapes and the dependencies between them. We will not cover in this class. We've covered that last class. You should probably rewatch that once you understand the basics of volume profile, because reading the volume profiles, the imbalances in between them, the closures, the POCs, the value area highs and lows, and how they shift is fairly important. Okay, so right now, if you guys look, I'm just going to delete some data. I'm going to keep actually these levels just so I don't have to redo it. This was the Friday's volume profile here, which it looks like we closed in a P shape, right? So each one of these volume profiles is going to have a different shape. If you're in Discord, I broke that down for you with the type of days you have. So if you go in this volume profile PowerPoint that I put together, each one of these volume profiles is covered, how to trade it, kind of what it means, certain rules around it. And then on the bottom, if you guys go, I started adding some stuff for you guys for the dependencies as well, where it's telling you how to treat them, how to read it. So if you haven't watched the other class, I suggest that you watch it after this one until you kind of understand the volume profile. Here's your session, right? So same concept as everything else. Value area high. So this will be marked, you always wait for the volume profile to close, meaning we're not looking at current volume profile much, unless we're scalping towards the end of the day and using it for almost like a lotto position like we did Friday, right? Looking at, at certain shelves, if we're right below or higher than the shelf or POC, so you can catch a nice little move towards the end of the day. But besides that, you should not use current day session. Let's say Monday session is building. You're not making any decisions off that session alone. You got to use the previous day because that's where the levels are already set. And most likely the closest memory of the market is going to be previous day. So it's going to respect the levels, and just like you did here. So when you're on the session volume profile, remember you go here, technicals volume, session volume profile. There are certain setups that we play off of these. It's also in the profile. We won't cover all of that. But just note that to mark these, right? So if you have this level right here, pretty sure I have these. So this is our PD value area high. If you're going to mark the PD value area low, you have this. Let me make sure I have it. So here's your PD value area low. And then, this is our POC in this case right here for, trading on Monday. Let's see, where is it? PD POC. So this is our area right now. What I take a look, right, when I trade session volume profiles is we look for the 80% rule a lot. It's called 80% rule because it has 80% chance of working. So it's a big setup, and a lot of you guys that got to using 80% rule have been pretty successful and kind of love it because it is pretty successful itself in the name. So I suggest that you guys learn about it and kind of add it to your ammo when you're trading for confirmations. So here, this is our PD POC for Monday. When we look at it, we closed a little bit bearish here. We had the little sell-off here, and we closed below the POC. It looks like it's almost like a perfect D-shaped volume profile. So they went above the value area. They got really clapped from it, and then we closed below this value. I wish the close was below the the PD value area high from the prior day. If we closed below this, it would have been really bearish for upcoming day. I think they're going to keep us in the range. For
you
Monday.
are charting extended hours.
That's okay. It won't shift much. So here, I'm expecting us to be in a really tight range here. Maybe open Monday and see if we're able to break below these. If we break this level, high chance you go here, which is your POC from Thursday, which we use for buying on Friday. This was the level where we went long. So let's see how we react. But that session volume profile in a nutshell, it just produces volume for that current day. And as TJ just mentioned, you can use extended or regular. On SPY, I don't really care for using extended. Usually for ES or any future vehicle, I do use extended hours. On SPY, I tend to not use that. Okay. Any questions on session volume profile?
I have a question when you're trading, how what it is to look for, I guess maybe on the bottom of the volume bar to know exactly what direction it's about to go. Like you tend to know like a few steps ahead. We're gonna go here, we're gonna go there. I'm still trying to figure out how to see that.
Yep. And that's mainly based off the levels that I mark, right? So if we're, you know, in this case, you know, it's basically understanding how the volume plays, right? So we popped above the value area, we respected it. On Friday, if you guys recall, we got into, I think it was 38.90s and 80 puts. We were making lower highs here, right? And this was a pretty decent sell. So remember, I combine all the volume. I don't just look at this volume and volume profile. If you kind of go down, does anyone know what we call this when you're coming to a top of a resistance, you know, and then you have volume that pops up? Does anyone recall that?
Stopping volume.
Yeah, it's definitely stopping volume, and you guys can thank your friend Sequence. He did build a script. I don't know if I refreshed it. I'll have to see here if I have it.
Yeah, there was a failed auction up there.
No, not failed auction. He added stopping volume for you guys.
There was one that day though, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Let's see.
Shorty, real quick, speaking of stopping volume, do you use like tape reading to figure that out as well?
You can use the absorption of the tape as well. Usually I can't notice it if I'm watching the tape, but I don't need much more wasting my time on the tape, and I can use this plus this volume and it produces similar results. And looking at those numbers really gives me a headache.
Sure.
So, yeah. Okay. So this is the script the Sequence produced for you guys here. So the rules are interchangeable, right? They are set when you start opening the script here. They're set on a 30%. You can put this on 20% and a pinball multiplier here. So if you guys go and click this, it can start giving you some, you know, SVs like stopping volume. And you usually want to play these candles like this one here. When it's a pin bar and it has a stopping volume, you want to play the break on the bottom of it, put the stop loss above and take your profits, right? The smaller time frame you are, the quicker your profits will be. If you see any stopping volumes, for instance, on 30 minutes, you have a little bit of time, you know, to react. Like this one here, if you guys see the SV, I don't know if it's visible, but let me see. Yeah, there it goes. So there's an SV here. It was a nice little hammer print. So the entry that I like to play on this is once you break this, you know, you can put your stop loss maybe the high or the, you know, find the 50% between the range, whatever your risk tolerance is. You can play that and then you figure out where your profits are based on volume profile or fibs. But that's the piece that we added to kind of help you. And see here, you would have been stopped out on that one. I don't see many stopping volumes on the buy side. I did see one here. I think it was at 3 minutes. Well, at least I noticed it when it was on 3 minutes here myself. I don't know if the volume was 30% higher or 20 at that time, but I did take this short here as well. Okay.
Can you show me where you got the indicator for the stopping volume again?
Yeah, so this is only to our, I guess, members. So if you go here and you will have like your shared scripts and you'll be like orb shorty targets or orbs, one of the two. I don't know how you guys see it. I see it a little bit differently because this is the account that generates the scripts.
Mine just says orbs.
Yeah, you should be able to see it. So if you go there and you click on
Orbs with shorty targets
Yeah.
by Simple Trader.
Yeah, and they usually, you know, the name in the script is, I guess right here, I think it'll say. So it'll say he called a shorty orbs title, short titles orbs here. So you should see it once you come up, should be orbs, and then you can see it from there under settings. Save, and then you want to make sure the bottom one's checked. And you'll be able to see this SV as well. Okay. So any questions on the session volume profile? So if you think about it, we covered fixed volume profile where you pick the beginning and the end. Then we covered the PVP, periodic volume profile, where you're selecting, you're telling it, hey, give me the monthlies, give me the weeklies, the quarterlies, and it seems like the max is yearlies on this, and then you can use fixed to combine the volume profiles there. So hopefully can be of any help while you're trading when you look at these right now. And your question on how do I know these things? Well, once you start looking at these patterns on volume profile and you start combining them, you're going to realize that some things repeat a lot, right? The patterns repeat themselves, and the more you look at these charts, you're going to be able to kind of tell, hey, what's going on? Is there a chance you might reject here or there? And then you see the weaknesses that they express, through the price action. So I think here, we had the VPOC here. Isn't there another VPOC right at 412 when you do the replay? If anyone's got it, I don't know if it was this one or. I thought there was a 412 VPOC. I don't know who's got it. If you went to the replay action, it's just that volume profile session stops at a certain point. It doesn't go as far back, so it goes back to October. And we're not able to see VPOCs past that. Usually you're not interested in finding VPOCs, which are emergent point controls. It means it's a POC that hasn't been tested. Market has a great memory. So usually when you have a VPOC, for instance, you guys look at this date, which was January 20th. We flew from this level right here. And did we ever come back to retest this level here?
Not yet.
Yep. So did I say January 10th? Yep, no, 20th. So we haven't been to this level, meaning you created an imbalance from this point of control, but you never revisited. So there's a high chance that you're going to be coming back to this area. And this is not a bad area for a bounce play, right? Usually VPOCs bounce like this one, where one was a 404. I know CK had one at 412 or something like that. So we'll check. So you have, potentially a VPOC here. They did hit this one with a single candle at 390. But there's a nice little double XPOC or maybe even triple in this area right here. If you guys look, 1, 2, 3 right there. So I'll be watching these levels. I usually note if there's multiple POCs like we had at this level. If you look at this level here, it's fairly loaded, right? 382. And that's why I use cumulative when I'm looking at ranges like this, just to give me, hey, for this whole range, I see a lot of POCs within these levels. Give me the one where it's cumulative. And that's what the fixed volume profile, in addition to the session, we can use. Okay.
Shorty, you can ignore that 411 one. I saw it was a couple of points away from that December 13th high.
Okay, cool. Okay. Then the last one, and this one's pretty good too, right? So let me just kind of zoom out. I want to take this yellow box away. It's pissing me off. If you guys look at these levels here, I'm just going to mark this one for a second here. If you look at the under indicators, Nicole's volume profile, there's something called visible range volume profile. And this one's fairly useful. And, you should definitely, I thought I had it. It's on my other chart. Let's add it. So visible range volume profile, it basically gives you whatever you see on your screen. If you look here now, I'm looking at the data from whatever is visible on the candles to the right, and it's producing the volume profile. So it's really like a cumulative fixed profile, whatever is visible on the screen. If I change this and zoom in, so we'll just hide the daily here, daily session. Not that. So now you guys are able to see, from this date here, this candle to here, this is what the volume profile looks like. Obviously, if you're looking for resistances, you need to kind of, if you're not capturing the higher highs, you want to look at this. You want to look at this and see what are the levels, right? So in this case, let me just, I'm just going to hide the drawings here for a second. So if you guys look, what are we approaching here? Hold on one second, guys. apologize. So right here, if you guys look, we have a nice little skinny belly approaching a high volume node. So here you had a major POC based on what we are seeing here. We accumulated greatly at this level here before, then we had a pop right here from 393. And now we're coming back to it. We regained it here, and then there's a nice little shelf here and a skinny belly. Skinny belly being the low liquidity area in the volume profile. So, and you guys see right here, there's a high chance we're going to go all the way here to that level that we talked about again at 410. And you guys see that that level might offer some resistance, right? So, and then if you look at the 3-year profile here, they're going to match in terms of the shelves and everything, just because I'm grabbing everything that this one is grabbing. So they should be very identical, right? I agree. And now if you look at the 1-hour profile, right? So if I grab this, you know, if you look at this, there's a high chance, you know, if you start looking the value area high of this selection here is coming up to be right here at 402.5. And then the bottom is somewhere at 390, right? So this is the value area, what I'm looking at here. Usually I use this when I'm looking at, you know, if I'm on 5 minutes, so I'll show you guys how it looks on my real chart here.
People try to get fancy, though.
So if I look at this right here, I usually use it if I'm, you know, trading intraday stuff. I like to grab a couple of days worth of data.
Yeah, she was, right? Mm-hmm.
I usually grab the volume profile to see, you know, where are the major shelves or POCs, like in this case, the POC is right there, 484 on ES. So I would use this and, you know, it doesn't really bother me on when I use it. I just adjusted a little bit and here's that POC. We bounced from it, now we lost it and it's setting up for a fairly bullish setup here on ES to kind of continue lower. So that's what I'm watching from this area all the way to 470. 14 points, highly doable on ES, so I will definitely watch it. And if I want to see a little bit more price action, then I just have to either change the time zone or time frame, and then look at the POC here now. Imagine all of these levels are not cleaned up yet. Now I'm able to see, let me just delete these fibs. So these were intraday fibs from Friday. So now I'm able to see, you know, the value area high here matches the POC. So there's a strong chance 460 is going to be doable. And this 460 level has been gold lately. I think it's the new pivot for us for shorting below 460. High chance you go 435. And below that, I would say that there's a high chance you're going to be going to this 413 level here. And then below that, you guys see all these skinny bellies in between. And if you're a momentum trader, you want to use these low volume nodes or, you know, skinny bellies to get in and drive it to the next shelf available. So like if you break below here, you want to be using it to drive it all the way to the bottom because it's most likely going to fly through because there's not a lot of volume there. You know, it's not going to have a lot of opposition and you know, there's no reason for buyer to buy in here when he knows he's going to be buying with the rest of the crew on the bottom where the previous demand zone was. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. So that covers all of the types of indicators that we have. On trading of these, like I mentioned, all of these major levels that we found on PVP, we use PVP to find the key levels of support and resistance like Q4s, yearly POCs, and then you can use the FVP, like we use that a lot, guys. The FVP is my favorite from all of them. If I don't have anything on a chart, let's say I'm using ES alone here. If I'm using this for trading, the only thing that I would probably have here is the FVP, and I would look at the data through it, right? So if I go here, I see that we accumulated nicely here, but this was after hours, this was during the hours. I would probably grab this data and be like, okay, well, where's the volume? Where's the POC for that area? Okay, well, there's a high chance you're going to be coming back to this area. And then when I look at it, hey, do I have anything 4070 that's kind of relevant to my trading here? So if I go here and I would look at it at 470, so there's a level that I marked. And then right below is the PD value area high. I don't know if I updated this chart, so don't. In this case, let's say there's a shelf here that's sitting. So I'd be like, okay, well, at 470, you know, there's a high chance for a bounce. And then I just go back to it and I trust the levels that I have. if I was to get into a trade such as this one, let's say I'm getting in and I'm going to go long off of this level, which hasn't been mitigated yet, meaning it hasn't been retested. If it has multiple tests, I'm not too interested in it. I want to know once you create, you had a balance here, right? Once you left this balance, right, whether it's an order block that they used or how they got out of it, they will come back to it and they will drive this price all the way back to here. If you grab this data here, if you look at this, right, I mean, there's a pretty much, I think, what was this, Thursday? Accumulation was here for some time. So if you go to 30, 65 minutes, it'll be pretty clear where the accumulations happened, right? So if you look here, look at that accumulation right there. This is pretty nice, to grab it. If you break this level, I would turn a little bit bearish, for time being. So 464 is a pretty good level, and draw a little zone around it. This area right here is a high chance for a bounce if you're going to be holding any levels, right? So if you guys look here, we did not, run this whole thing from this accumulation zone. These are re-ads, right? So if you guys look, the whole running started from this zone, and all of these little hiccups that you see on the volume profile, so I'll just grab from here to here, are just levels where they're accumulating, right? So you see this little accumulation here. There's a shelf here because of this. Then there's quite a bit here because there's a lot of trading around this POC. And if you guys look at this section, once they reclaimed this level and they took it, they popped a little higher. So now, if you look at this, there's a high chance you come back to 415 and that we would be interested in potentially playing the bounce because we haven't really came back yet to this level to hit it for a zone of an entry, right? On a retest. So I'll be watching something like this. If I'm just trading FVP, these are the levels for a bounce that I'm using, right? And then, I don't see anything wrong with grabbing this to here and see what's going on. So from this swing low to this swing high, the 50% is right here. So most likely what they would do in this case, I would expect them to do kind of break below this POC, break here, and then regain it, and then you could go long. But first step, I would initially go along here to see, how are we approaching it? If we're approaching this support with the big red candles, I'll be a little bit more hesitant to pull the trigger to go long. If I see the price action and you look at, the orders and the volume that's coming in, I would most likely go long here on the first retest when we get here at kind of 420, 415 area. But that's pretty much FVP, how we use it in a nutshell. We look for accumulations and the retests of those. So same concept. I've been teaching you guys this for a very long time. These things right here, they tend to be retested. Here, if they come back, they'll be somewhere around here. They usually go down. In this case right now, if you guys look, this is your accumulation here. So if they drive this back, they're going to push it back, and this will be your level that you're interested in. And then if you look at this bigger picture, right, I mean, there's a giant accumulation we talked about earlier. They usually accumulate as much as they can at those levels, and then they make a move higher, test, and they came back for a retest here. They reaccumulated, and then they went higher. And, there's multiple that you can spot these things, right? I suggest that you guys use these on 30 and 60 minutes for intraday. You can use it on 15 minutes if you know what you're doing with FVP. You can get a lot of false positives, or where you take a trade and it doesn't play out because you don't get to see the full picture. But I think, 30 minutes is fair enough for looking at the setups on intraday trades. So definitely would relate to that and trade that time frame. So any questions overall on volume profile and the basics of how we use them, what we use, and then I think in the next video and the next class, we can go into specific setups like 80%, where we cover the 80% rule to a T, where you guys know how to look at it, trade it. I would just add the VPOCs if you guys are looking at any of those PVP, right? If I'm looking at PVP, let's see, which one is this? This is 12 months. So if I'm looking at PVP here, the PVPs can be also, the POCs can be the VPOCs. So in this case, right, on ES, the VPOC is a 3200. It hasn't been tested yet. This magnet here is going to eventually be tapped. I don't know when, but they all get tapped. So let's see, I don't know how far back this is gonna go, but usually they're really pretty accurate on tapping these major levels, and this one is not gonna be an exception either. So you can also do VPOCs on the weeklies, right? So if you're doing this, change this to week, make you sure you have it, change it 65, and then these levels become fairly important. So you have a VPOC right here sitting 38.32, we haven't tapped that level, and this is our VPOC from January 3rd week. And then you have double XPOC right there at 38, call it 50. And we can, just the beauty of FVP, I can tell where is it. It's at 38.53, so that 50 range is the potential early bounce in case they want to make a higher high from here. And if they want to tap the whole thing, it'd be 38.32. They would trap a lot of longs here. Playing the 38.50 bounce. Okay. Does this session help newer people, Sunflower? Does this clarify the value areas, how you look at them?
Yes, definitely. I did want to ask you too, just to make sure I had it right. When you're trying to look for swing trades, you use the PVP versus the SVP. Is that right?
Yes, SVP is not really for swing trades. It's more to see the market structure of day to day. When I look for swing trades, I usually go on a daily or weekly time frame, and I will look at the same thing that I look for intraday stuff. Is I look for these accumulations like this one. This one's pretty wide. There's an accumulation actually right here that we're gonna wait for a retest on a pullback, right? So if you see here, this test here is coming, and when it does get back to this is a nice little accumulation area. So for a swing entry, this is your swing entry here at 38.50. You have to put your stop loss maybe slightly here at 38.20s, 30s, but you wouldn't swing ES, maybe contract, you'd be playing SPY or some other instrument. So this is your range for buying, right? I mean, probably go somewhere around here. And then your stop loss would be somewhere right, say right here would be your stop loss, and you'd be playing that. If ES breaks this level, then I'll get out of my SPY swing. And usually you can tell how long it takes, from here to accumulation start. So you would need like 2 months setup, right, to trade. But you want to look for accumulations on weekly, daily, and then play up to those levels for swings.
All right, thank you. It definitely helps. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, Shorty. We have the orbit levels also, right? That is related to the OI. So can we correlate volume profile and OI to trade the levels?
You can, yeah. So if you do use Max Pain, he's talking about the Max Pain script, the sequence updates, and what that tells us is the concentration of the contracts and where the market makers have a lot of money exposed, meaning open interest times the last price. So remember, we don't really get updates during the day on OI open interest. We only get the the closure, and then the next day at 8 o'clock it updates, and that's when sequence updates it for us. So if we know, for instance, let's say this was, I'm just throwing stuff out, this was SPX 4100 calls, right? 4100 calls had 55 million premium, right? On Friday, right? And we are approaching this level. Now you have to think like a market maker, right? If these calls are above, if the price goes above this level, what do you think how are they in pain or not in pain?
They feeling good.
In pain.
Well, they wouldn't be feeling so good if they sold a lot of 4100 calls, right? Let's say they
Sold, my bad.
Yeah, so if they're exposed on 4100, right, meaning that there's a lot of them open, and somebody bought them, well, they will make sure that we don't go above this price. It's in their goal that they close below it, so that way they don't have to pay out the premium on it, because then these calls become what? If you close below,
Worthless.
they become worthless, and they're gonna pretty much close at zero. So the goal is for market maker when you see and you don't want to, you want to look at like a big number when you see the OEI. If it, you see 2 million here and 2 million here, where do you guys think we would close if I have 100 million here? Well, let's use real numbers. 5 million here and 5 million here. Where do you guys think I close?
Between
40.95.
You close right in between. You're gonna kill both sides, right? So they figure out the least impact to their budget, and they're like, okay, well, high chance we close here. I called 484 close on Friday, and that was pretty much something similar like that what I saw on ES and SPX premiums, right? So if you guys look at it, there was a high chance when we hit this, I said 4084 is going to be the close, and I think I missed it by maybe a quarter of a point.
Quarter.
Yeah, something. Oh, I don't know. It was, where was this? 4. Yeah, I missed it by a little bit. I know it was tiny a little bit here somewhere. So you can use the max pain, but I suggest you use max pain, especially now that we have 0 DTs on SPX. I still prefer to use it on Friday. I don't know, maybe just an old habit that I have. I haven't gotten accustomed to looking at it every day, but I do use it on Fridays quite a bit.
Okay, gotcha.
Any other questions? Do you guys have any desire for anything else learning wise from volume profile, just so I can kind of put it down? Remember, this is your entry level, what we covered. This is not a lot. And if it sounds complex, then you got some time, on your hands and learning to do. The next step would be, kind of figuring out how do you know the rejections are coming, like what Sunflower asked. How do I know that this was most likely a rejection, catching these moves? It's all about the value areas, rejections, acceptances. It's about knowing the volume profiles. What are you printing? What is your prior day? How did you close? Did you have a good close above, below? Did you shift your value areas? Was it higher highs on value areas or lower highs? Like for instance, from here, right? You go from a dump to a short cover rally to another, not a strong P. Then you close above it, you dip here. This is some market manipulation. I mean, if you can survive this time right now, you will do okay when we have a trend, a clear trend, like a bullish trend or a bearish trend that's kind of following. Right now, it's not a lot of swings that you can take. We take partially sometimes the swings with, high conviction and high profitability possibility. But lately, besides the buying levels that we had on some of those stocks previously when we did the watch list, I'm not seeing a lot of great setups. It seems like a lot of stuff has to kind of come back. And even when we did the Excel spreadsheet earlier, there was only a handful where the monthly bottoms and weekly bottoms were aligned. And those to me are, the ones that I look for, where I get a confluence of clouds on the bottom, and that's the ones I buy. So right now we just need maybe to cool off a little bit, see, especially with the FMOC, I believe it's this week, right? Sure. When is
Wednesday.
it? Wednesday, right? So you have Fed interest rate decision. I think this is gonna be, if you're a new trader, I suggest you do not trade this. If you're an old trader, I don't suggest you trade this. I think you just watch this day and enjoy your coffee and read a book.
Trade the next day, right?
Yeah, you can trade the next, but I would definitely not freaking trade this, guys. This here is gonna be a nightmare.
Thursday we got earnings for Amazon, Google.
I know. So just think about when you think about Google, Amazon, think about the possibilities of scenarios that can happen between Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, Wednesday they say dump it, then you see a giant like red candle, and then remember there's bad news are good news and good news are also good news. You don't know how they're deciphering these news now. Right? I mean, you would think if economy is booming, right? We had the GDP growth of 2.9 that we're going up. That means, well, we might have to continue with these rates a little bit longer. At the same time, Fed's balance sheet is going to be paying higher interest rate payments if they keep the interest rates higher. So like the position that we are in right now is a really tricky, monetary fiscal policy, decision that they're going to have to make. I would just say that they're going to be wrong. I don't know if they're going to be wrong for the stock market or for the people. Usually they're right for the stock market, bad for the people. So I don't know what they're gonna do this time and are they gonna change it? But I mean, this is a big week, like super big week. And if you can't stomach some of the changes, is there a chance that you can catch a banger from from $1 to 30 on a contract? Yeah, but you can also catch a banger to 0. So if you're not willing to accept the loss and not cry about it and be negative about it, then you should not trade. I will most likely, to be honest, Wednesday just enjoy the show. I'll put some popcorn and I'll just watch it. And I've seen these moves quite a bit before. There's no reason for me to trade that crap. Otherwise, I mean, let's meet up in Vegas and we just put it all on red or black, whatever you guys like, and we go from there. That's
that
literally,
Wednesday.
yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, they're all going to be the same.
Not a good idea.
Take a lottery, but nothing serious, right?
Yeah, I mean, but remember, you gotta be willing to accept. Some of you guys, I say, like Friday, I said, hey, I'm in Lotto 300. I made quite a bit of money on Friday. A 300 is a lotto for me. If 300 is not lotto for you, you don't do the 300. If you can't stomach that loss, you don't do it, right? I'm able to lose $300 and go on with my day, and I will not blink an eye. For smaller accounts, losing 300 if your account is 1K, that's a substantial loss. I mean, that's 30% of your account's gone.
Yes, it is.
So you have to be a little bit logical, right? Oh, Shorty got in here. I'm gonna, no, you don't get in because I got in. My risk, your risk, my account, your account, different. Even if it's the same, we have different risk management. So you have to be a little bit smarter about your money. And, we're going to be starting the 1K challenge. So hopefully you guys have uploaded it, your pairs, and you have it and you review the process. Don't try to bombard people, sequence dumpster. They did a lot of effort to kind of cover that, put it together. I think they put a video on how you can use that. The 1K opportunity, which is basically, the idea behind this is not for you to go from, I'm not C-Blast and I can't grow an account from 1,000 to 10 million in 5 trades. The focus of this is for you guys to learn discipline and accountability, right? You're not going to go from 1,000 to 5 million in 5 trades. Otherwise, you'd be working for JPM and they would be kissing you every night. Okay. So the idea behind this, the purpose is that you're going to meet with your person that you're assigned with. Like I'm assigned with Makari. If I'm not able to see what he's doing, or if he's not able to see what I'm doing, clearly why I took a trade, where was my stop, what was the reasoning behind the trade, and kind of express your feelings. Like I did this for this reason. Then, you got to change that, right? It's important that your trades are logged as part of this exercise. 2 people will be released from the Discord just because the logging, that they don't have the log. So if you don't care, that's okay. You don't have to log it. I don't care about you either, right? I'm not going to waste my time. I've been on a call on today on almost 5 hours today on between 101s and this class. So if I'm willing to take time, my son's coming up, hey, when are we going? If I can take time away from myself and you can't fucking take time to log your trades, don't think that I give a damn if you do well or not. Like I do not honestly give a shit if you don't give a shit. But if you care and I see that you're struggling, I'll definitely I've had one-on-ones yesterday, 3 of them. I'll help you, but you got to put some effort into it and you got to be honest with yourself. If you can't stomach that and you can't put those accountabilities on yourself, then it's okay. I'm pretty sure there's a call out Discord somewhere that will grow your account 1000% really quick. So that's it. I think for me, I don't have anything else. Actually, I have a birthday party to attend in 38 minutes. So I will be signing off and I'll post my levels for ES tonight. And we'll go from there, and then we'll trade tomorrow live and see if we can catch some nice moves. I don't expect a lot of action till Wednesday, but let's see.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Shorty.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you, Shorty.
See you, brother.